Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
And new undisputed UFC Middleweight Champion of the world, Michael the Count Bisping.
This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
We are rolling indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the number one goddamn podcast on the planet.
The number one.
Regardless of whether or not Jake Paul says that it's struggling.
That motherfucker. I you know what? I took offense to that like pretty bad. Like, oh, you're struggling, Pac. Wait a second, motherfucker. You see what the Believers did to a fucking Urban Air? Like, better watch out, you fucking bum.
Exactly.
I was offended.
I love this. Look at Anthony Smith now harnessing the power of the Believers. I love it. I know. No, listen, we weren't going to start with this, but I guess, Jake Paul came out yesterday. What did he say? In fact, if we have the video, we should play it for anyone that hasn't heard it. But he came out with a video with some, bizarrely enough, with some swimming goggles on. Why did he have? Let's just watch it, just for a little bit of context for the anyone that hasn't heard it. There you go.
Oh, Michael, you bloody mate. Why do we gotta do this? All right, fuck it. We'll do it. We'll fuck around. All right, Michael. So Bisping's coming at me on Twitter, saying I'll never win a championship and I'll never earn the respect of the fight community. He may be right. Now, you can't pay your rent or your mortgage with the championship belt or respect. So quite frankly, I don't give a fuck. When I was crying earlier after he tweeted me, I was sobbing. Then I was like, fuck. I started wiping my tears away with the $50 million that I made last year fighting. In my last fight, by the time round 3 was over, I made more money than he did in his whole entire career. So I get why he's mad at the new kid on the block, whatever, talking all this shit. And, when he looks at his bank account, guys, you may not know this, but he only sees half of it. So he really thinks he made half of that amount of money since he only has one eye.
I fucking couldn't see.
But the eye joke's not funny. I truly don't think it's funny. I think it's mean, and I am sorry. Now, Michael, I am not just the type of person to talk shit without backing it up. So if you can get licensed with your one eye and old ass and all that crazy shit you got going on, I would love to fight you. Let's see if that championship that you won and all the respect you have from the fight community can really get you through a boxing match with me, because I bet it can. I will whoop your old ass. But with all that said, here's the two things that I want to point out. A, Tyron Woodley was a 5-time UFC champion, and look what happened to him. And B, Michael Bisping has paid me respect. I mean, look what he said on this article. Jake Paul isn't just a YouTuber, continued Bisping. He's a boxer now. He's still a YouTuber, but he's also a boxer. Just because you discover your love for the sweet science later in life doesn't mean you have to be labeled a YouTuber your entire life. The reality is Jake Paul's doing a great thing in the boxing world. Jake Paul's bringing a lot of attention, a lot of eyes to the boxing world. Suspicious. So does this mean you respect me, Michael? I think it does. Oh, you're swallowing your own words. I want to swallow your eyeball.
All right. Thoughts, Mr. Smith?
Oh, I will hurt that fucking kid. I've said nice things about him too. Like, at least I think that he's taking the sport serious and that he can kind of fight a little bit. And I started saying nicer things about him when he started backing off of like talking shit about people that I respected a lot, and like really like he kind of shit on Ben Askren. Listen, Ben Askren has pissed off a lot of us, probably you included at some point in time. But he's a multiple-time world champion. He's a fantastic wrestler, super like fantastic accolades, across a couple different sports. But and then the way he was talking about Tyron, but then like after the Tyron thing, he kind of gave Tyron some respect. He bonused him up with some money, like gave him a rematch and gave him another paycheck, like ended up knocking him out, but whatever. Anyways, I've said nice things about the guy. And I know when I'm talking shit about him, maybe especially when I'm like on Twitter or something, I know it probably seems like I'm like trying to stick up for you, but it's not it at all. I
thought you were sticking up for me. I thought, wow, what a kind.
It's some of the it's the way that he's coming at you that piss. If it was, listen, I love you, Mike, but if it was you or like someone exactly like you, I would have the same reaction. Like,
no, I know.
Like he's fucking young. and he's at the beginning of his career, and like you've had this long storied legendary fucking career, and like you've moved on to something else, and like when's the last time you were in a fucking MMA gym training?
Well, let me see. I don't know. About 6 weeks ago.
And then before that?
Oh, 6 months ago. I don't go to them. I am time served. I'm time served. I've done it. I've been there. I've done it. I've got the fucking t-shirt. Listen, as you can see there when that video was playing, I was laughing. Right. My wife and I were both laughing when he goes, "You one eye," and all that craziness you got going on there. My wife and I were laughing our fucking heads off. Now, the thing was, this came about because he started talking shit and he said, "I'm on his hit list." You know who else is on his fucking hit list? Oscar De La Hoya, a guy that fought at about 145 pounds that retired 18 years ago. 18 years ago. So I made fun of him. I was like, Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? Because he's like, I'm not sure if he got the memo. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he realizes that by calling out a 43-year-old fighter with no knees and one eye, I don't know if he understood. Don't you understand, Jake, that you sound like such a little bitch, a little pussy? That's my point. I like what you're doing. The fact that he brings up there that I said nice things about him proves I'm not a hater. I'm not hating on him. Oh, I'm hating on this fucking indigestion and this pains I'm getting in my stomach. Whoa. No, I'm not hating on him. I wish him nothing but the best. And he's bringing younger eyes to boxing. So that's all great. He just needs to fight a boxer and stop calling out these guys. I mean, he started off with Ben Askren, who was 37, coming off a hip replacement. Then he went to Tyron Woodley, who's 40, who's a wrestler with a right hand, right? Now he's calling me out. At this rate, and Oscar De La Hoya, at this rate, the next person he boxes is going to be the old guy that Conor McGregor punched in the bar. Do you know what I mean? These are the type of people that he's fucking calling out. But however, guess what? Anthony Smith? He says that if I can get licensed, he will fight me. Now, I don't want to fight Jake Paul. I don't. But guess what? Hold on. I know a few people. I haven't been around this fight game this long to not have contacts. And when I say contacts, I'm talking about the Great Eagle Resort and Casino, the Seven Chiefs Play Sports Complex from the Alberta Travel Tourism Board. The Tusutina Combat Sports Commission have messaged me and said 100% they would host this fight and they will commission me with one eye. So, Mr. Jake Paul, I guess the ball's in your fucking court. Yeah, I don't want to fight him. I don't. I'm not lowering myself to that. If you want to,
I will fucking lower myself all the way to the basement.
Yeah, like, I'm done. You're still fighting, bro.
It just pisses me off. Like you're just, and I think maybe it's the way that like he's, it's the Ben Askren thing. Like, all right, he's an older guy that's been retired. He's got a hip replacement. Tyron Woodley's on a lot of losses, but then he looks at you. He's like, oh, he's got one eye and two knees. Like, I think you beat Jake Paul's ass, but it's the fact that he's looking at you like you're like a broken item that he's just going to go in there and beat up. Like, if that's what you want to do, like, there's young people that are your size that can get licensed. Like, I will beat him in any fucking sport he fucking asks. Like, I'll beat him.
Listen. If you're saying that, then I just want to chime in and say, yes, me too. I will fuck him up easy.
I totally agree.
I'm 43, but I still fucking got it. Do you know what I mean? I still totally work out. I run. I hit the bag. I lift fucking weights. I just don't drive down to the gym and train with the boys because I'm too fucking busy. Do you know what I mean? On occasion, I do.
Well, I said that in my tweet too. I was like, listen, Michael will beat your fucking ass anyways. But if he's just sticking to this retirement thing, I'll come in second and I'll come in cleanup crew and just beat the fuck out of you. I hate that. I'm like, and that's the thing. I feel like I've been in a relationship with Jake Paul. Like, I hated him for a while. Then I was like, hey, you know what? The whole fighter pay thing, the he's trying to help out people. And he's, I was like, you know what? If he's going to be cool and he's going to take care of people and he's getting people money, and you know what? I'll back off of him. But then he's back to being a fucking douchebag again. Like,
the fighter pay thing is bullshit though, and that is not what he's trying to do. He's only saying that to seem like some kind of hero to the MMA community. If you look on his undercards for some of the other boxers,
them shit.
They weren't getting paid very fucking well. And if you want to help everybody and you want to crusade for better fighter pay, all he's got to do is he has a promotion. Hire them, get them to come and fight for him and pay them tons of money as opposed to just giving Dana shit. Do you know what I mean? Right. And of course I said to him, I said, listen, Jake, you're talking shit. I said, there's two things that I have you'll never have. I forget how I worded it. The respect of the fight community and a world championship. Two things you'll never have. So that's why he did that video, right? And he's talking about money all the time, but he's not talking about that. He will never have until he starts boxing boxers. He's 25 years old. Do you know what I mean? Fight somebody your own age. Fight up-and-comers. Fight young, up-and-coming boxers. That's who he should be fighting. And until he does that, you will never have the respect, and you certainly won't win a fucking world championship in your chosen sport. You might do one day, but not until you start fighting actual boxers. These sideshow acts, these Triller-type matchups with bands playing and all the rest of it. Because the guy only did 65,000 buys last time out as well. Let's remember that. So he needs some fucking star power, because if
which is also another reason why he's coming at you.
Yeah, exactly. Or anybody, because he needs
someone that can draw. Right, he needs someone that can draw. And and you made a good point there. Like every time we start talking about actual fucking skills and abilities and what's going to happen in these potential fights, the only thing he can talk about is money. Like I never get offended by that. Like that's fine. Like you've made a shit ton of money. You could make $1 billion fucking dollars. You'll never beat me in a fight. Like, yeah, that's one thing you'll never get. Like you'll never be able to. And
you can't buy respect. You can't buy. And listen, he's already got. And by the way, I'm not hating on him. He's obviously a very talented young. No, I'm not. God bless him. Honestly, I really don't give a fuck. He's made a ton of money. Good for him. And that's why I said he's going over to boxing. He's choosing to do this, and I respect that. Good for him. But you can't just, when you want respect as a fighter. Right. Number one, you can't buy it. You got to fucking earn it. All those $50 million you made last year. Good for him. You can't hate on that. Jesus Christ. I would have loved to have made $50 million. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I don't. Of course I fucking would have done. But I'm also very happy with my lot in life. I'm happy with what I achieved. I'm happy with the paydays that I got. Yes, you're earning more money. But guess what? There's a lot of people out there in the world that have got more money than me. And I can't go through life being all bitter and twisted because there's Jeff Bezos, there's Elon Musk, there's Joe Rogan, there's Dana White, there's Conor McGregor. I could sit here and name millions and millions of. I am not one of the richest men in the world, believe it or not. And I don't give a flying fuck. I've got 3 beautiful children. I've got a beautiful wife. I've got money in the bank. I've got a career. I've had a career. I'm happy. Jake, pick on someone your own size, buddy, because if you fucking pick on me anymore, I'll knock you the fuck out, brother. Simple as that. Simple as fucking that. Anyway.
That's a good way to end that one.
Yeah. If he thinks I wouldn't knock him out.
Because I'll just keep fucking freaking out over here. I'll just keep freaking out.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got lots to talk about. We're supposed to have Hamzat and Darren Till on. A lot of people asking. Now, I did just get sent their emails just a second ago. So send them an email, Brian, and see. Already done. My guy. Perfect. Harrington, I already regret this, but show yourself.
What's going on, guys?
Doesn't he look different, Anthony?
Are you wearing a robe?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And dude, it's 40 degrees in my house right now. I'm freezing.
Why can't you put the heating on?
Because the landlord turned it off on April 1st. That's like
why?
Because it's a New York apartment and they legally don't need to provide you with heat after like a certain date. So they just kill the heat for the whole building. Because I mean, like realistically, who needs heat in the middle of June? You know? So
yeah, but we're not in the middle of June. We're in the middle of April. That's 2 months away.
Could they turn it on and you could pay for it?
No, it's the line is like the line I guess goes directly to like them. They have to pay for it. It's like, they pay for heat and hot water. It's the couple things you get in New York. And
can you control the when the heat's on? Can you control the temperature?
Yeah, there's like little knobs on the radiators you can like turn on and off.
You got like radiators. Okay.
Yeah.
Poor Harrington. I'm sitting here. I'm too hot. I've just put the air conditioning on. How's the temperature for you, Anthony?
It's a little chilly outside, but my house is kind of warm. So I had to turn
the fan on. A little sweaty.
Yeah, I had to turn the fan on for sure.
I am perspiring. It is so hot. I'm sorry, Harrington.
Dude, my feet are mate? Still frozen.
Really?
We need a space heater. We need to send you a space heater.
We're sending you some space heaters. We are.
I'll have it like Amazon deliver. I'll have Amazon deliver one to your house.
We're gonna warm that fucking place up for you, Harrington.
I need your address.
We're gonna warm it up.
To me.
You guys are too kind.
But you do look different. Have you trimmed the beard?
Yeah, I had Easter, like a whole day of Easter plan with my girlfriend's family, and I had to make a good impression. So she was like, whatever you do this week, all you have to do is just get a haircut and your beard trimmed, and you're fine.
Shower. Brush your teeth.
Optional.
Don't show up in a bathrobe.
No. Does your girlfriend live with you?
Yeah.
Man, my wife. There's no way we'd be moving. There's no way my wife's living in a house with no heat.
No way. Is your girl not freezing cold though, Hamilton?
No, where's she at? Go get her. We need to talk to her. Where's she at?
She's she's at work already. She's heading into producing.
Yeah, you don't want her. She's a psycho.
To be fair, Alex is always cold. She's like 75 pounds.
Women are always freezing. Always. It doesn't matter. Like me and Rebecca were always warring over, in the car. Now it's different. You have two separate heaters, don't you? One.
Right.
Sometimes you have four of them if it's a real fancy car. But back in the day, she'd turn it up and I'd like slide my hand over and slightly turn it down. And it's just a silent war. Nobody talks about it. Like when you're on an airplane. And and you got the middle seat and you'll the war with the elbow. Do you know what I mean? It's like, motherfucker, this armrest is mine.
Like if they take one drink, those elbows are fucking out.
Oh, yeah. You getting up and going to the toilet? You fucking lost that armrest, buddy.
You lost that.
Every time you take a sip, again, it's gone. You're like, oh,
yep, boom.
You got me. Anyway, Harrington, go on. What have you got for us today? Give us something fun.
Speaking of taking some sips, this is kind of an interesting one. Pertains to what we've been talking about the last few weeks. Busch Light is giving away tons and tons of Busch Light and money for a boat, right? So it's Busch Light and boat money. If you just go to their Twitter right now, they have an image up. If you can guess exactly how many cans are on this boat, you will win all the year supply of Busch Light and money towards the Busch boat.
So hold on. There are cases, are they, that I can see on here?
There's 30 packs.
They're 30. Oh,
I think they're 24 packs.
Oh, no.
Oh, listen, Harrington, don't come in here waving your knowledge of Busch Light around. We clearly have one expert. His name is
Hold
Anthony
on, I got to
Smith.
look at this. Pulling it up.
Harrington has
zoom in on that.
Drank in fucking 15 years.
Yeah, zoom in on that bad boy. We need to see. What is your guess, Anthony?
Well, I'm second guessing myself.
Bam.
Is Harrington correct? Are they 24 packs?
I would
He's weird like that.
No,
So
they
typically,
those look like 30 packs.
Just keep talking. I'll be right back. 1 second.
Yeah, those look like 30 packs. I don't even know if I've ever bought a 24 pack of Busch Light before because it's usually easier to find and get. There is a couple in there that look like maybe they're cases, but I thought that they were like just turned funny.
Look, there's some singles in there.
I counted the singles. Don't worry.
Double or triple stacked. I can't tell. It's why.
Oh my god, I didn't count the ones in the fucking.
1,
you know what? Hold
2,
on a second.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Yep.
Listen, guys.
I have a good guess though.
Go
I
on.
think I bet I'm close.
Go ahead.
Well, I got to look at my calculator because I had to add it up. 2,160.
Harrington, what's your guess?
well, I don't have one, but I do know that I, just being a little brown noser that I am, already submitted that from the BYM pod account and told them to send Anthony Smith his Busch Lights. They told me it's wrong. We got to guess again. So we got to come up with another number, guys.
Are you dead serious?
I swear to God, they already responded.
Hold on. What's going on here? Well, are you guys fucking liaising behind my back, sending tweets from the BYM pod account? Anthony's entering competitions. I have no knowledge of this.
Oh my God.
Is he stealing my
us.
podcast right before my eyes? What the fuck's going on?
Tweeted.
What did he say?
They said, he said 2,160. Now give Lionheart his Busch Lights. They said, nope, guess again. Fuck.
We gotta come up with an official guess, guys.
I thought you knew some Busch Lights. Anyway, what's this about this fitness expert thing, Harrington, that I'm seeing here? I regret asking already.
So this one is pretty silly. So Tucker Carlson, obviously everybody's favorite reporter on the planet. He has this.
Can we just he's a total bell end.
Yeah, I can't stand him.
Yeah, come on.
Fox News is always on at my parents' house, and I'm just like, man, this guy is just trying to sell you a pillow. But
yeah, he is.
So
Mike Lundell.
Yes. So he has this new series where he's doing these like long form interviews with guys. And one of the guys who he had on is this dude who claims bromeopathic science, right? Where, the part of the therapy that he's recommending is full body red light therapy, which includes tanning your testicles, which he says will increase testosterone in healthy men.
And let me guess, he sells this thing, I'm assuming.
I would assume so. Either that or packages for it.
I have no idea who sent it, but I got a thing of red light sent to me. Maybe this is going to be an ad or something on the show, but I got a red light therapy thing sent to me yesterday. I was like, what the fuck is this? But what is he saying that it does? You tan your balls, you hold the red light to your balls, then what does that do? Stop testicular cancer or something?
No, so he's saying you should cover your whole body in red light therapy. Red light therapy is good for X, Y, and Z. I don't know the bro science, but he said
no, don't play it.
He said specifically, like men who tan their balls, who get like, extra, sunlight and create a tan on their genitals, their testosterone will increase.
Ah.
So,
Anthony,
have you ever tanned? Like
me?
tanned? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Do you know what? I'll give you a story. When I trained with George St. Pierre for the Ultimate Fighter finale, 2005 in Las Vegas, it was a couple of days. I mean, I have tanned. I used to go on sunbeds, as we call them in the UK. Not so much. I haven't been on one for a very, very long time. But obviously, being English, being very, very white, and over winter, I get extremely white, like a milk bottle. Before I fight, I go down the tanning salon. Get a little color in me. But I remember a couple of days before that fight, George St. Pierre says to me, Michael, I have something for you. This is going to help you in the fight. And he gives it to me. And it's fucking fake tan. It's fake tan. The cheeky bastard. He said, you're far too pasty. But I'll be honest, if you see the Ultimate Fighter 3 finale, I am a very golden, bronzy color because I put on George St. Pierre's fake tan. There we go. What about you?
Yeah, I tan all the time before fights. If it's in the summertime, I'm already, like, we spend most of our time outside or whatever. So I'm already pretty tan in the summertime. But if I fight in the wintertime, I'll almost always have a good 5 or 6 weeks of tanning so that I'm, as weird as it is, I'm half black, but I get super white, like especially my legs and then like lower legs. So, but speaking of this whole tanning your balls thing, I've always been so terrified that I'm going to burn my whole area down there, like in a tanning bed. It's just terrifying. I don't know if I could just tan my balls.
Yeah. No, I used to have a nightmare that I would get trapped in a tanning bed. Do you know what I mean? What a horrible way to go. I think it's Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels at the start of that movie. They hold the guy in, they're torturing him, and that always stuck in me. Could you imagine, of all the ways to go, the long, sickly, painful ways, slowly being fried to death on a tanning salon? No. That's a nasty way.
That's terrible. There was a movie like Final Fantasy or something like that, where like something falls onto the tanning bed.
Final Destination.
Final Destiny, not Final Fantasy. That's a game. Final Destiny, and it like something falls on the bed, and and they can't get it open, and they just fry.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I've talked about this to somebody else, and they said that. So, Ellie, come here. She has an announcement, ladies and gentlemen. She had a driving test today. I don't know if she passed or failed. We'll see. But you got 4 daughters, Anthony. How old's your oldest?
10.
Oh, she's way off driving yet. Way off.
No, she drives.
Does she really?
She drives my wife's Razor all the time.
No.
Yeah.
The Smiths are driving at 10 years old. She's
the little ones have their own. The little ones have their own Razor that they drive. They're not cars, but
Nebraska is a different world, man.
They're hunting. Do they hunt?
Yeah. Well, my oldest, she's got like 3 guns of her own. I'm telling you, my wife.
What kind of guns? What kind of guns?
She has an old like 1980 Ruger 44 Magnum, which is just like a smaller stature deer rifle. So
because if you're 10 years old, you got to have an antique one or a vintage.
Well, he's got to have one that's a little bit smaller, so it's not going to like just destroy her shoulder. She has a 22 like long rifle, like just something that she can target practice with and just get good with. And then all of them kind of have it's a 22 pistol that it's really small, super like it'll fit okay in her hands because she's a taller girl. So, but it's just to help her practice getting better handling it and stuff. But yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah. I mean,
but they drive the shit out of the Razors though. Like,
well, I'm going to as well when we come down there eventually.
Hell yeah. So I was at my uncle's Sunday at we did this big seafood boil, like crawfish.
I saw it on Instagram. Yeah, that was your uncle's.
Yeah, we were at the farm, and he was all liquored up a little bit, and he just kept saying, "You got to get Bisping down here," because he watches the show and listens. When he's a big machine operator, so like he'll just put it on and listen to it while he's working. And he was like, "You gotta get Michael Bisping. We gotta get him here." I was like,
What's he called?
Todd.
We're coming down, buddy. Can't wait to meet you. LA. Yeah. Anyway, I think she passed. Because I didn't get a bad text from my wife. But I'm terrified because, well, number one, now I've got to buy her a car. That's separate terror. That's something different. But I don't think she should be driving on the streets. She drove us to lunch yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, we nearly crashed like 3 fucking times." I mean, you say your daughters drive a Razor. What about an actual car, though? Right?
No, they've never.
Anthony, no.
Yeah. Yeah, no, never. But razors, I mean, like my wife's razor will do 100. I mean, it's pretty snappy.
Miles or kilometers?
Miles.
Yeah, 100 mile an hour. That is fast.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty fast. I mean, she doesn't go very fast. Like I'll tell her like put it, take it from over here and put it over there. So it's
and
not
they
like
look
she
a lot
just
of fun as well.
So much fun.
All right, should we get into some of this stuff at the weekend? What happened? We're supposed to have Hamzat and Darren Till. If the Smash Brothers let us down, then it's war, because then it's fucking Smith and Bisping versus Hamzat and Darren Till. There's the real fucking matchup.
Which one are you taking?
I've taken. I'll. Who do you want?
Neither. But if I don't know.
I'll take Till out.
Okay.
You do Hamzat. I'll take Till.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Hamzat and Till. You fucked up. Messed up.
You fucked up, AA Ron.
You done fucked up, kid. Disrespecting the show. Never mind, Jake Paul. We're coming for Hamzat and Darren Till. The Smash Bros are going to get the fucking head smashed in. Simple as that. Not happy at all. All right, guys, let's just hear from Chicken Skin real quick. You know the deal by now. Listen, you want a snack, but you want to stick to the diet. You don't want all those carbs, the fat, the calories. No, you want Chicken Skin, a 100% organic, skin-sourced flesh and gluten-free. It's the snack that you need. When you want a crispy, crunchy snack, this one's got 0 carbs, unlike those potato chips. And of course, it comes in 8 different flavors. And it is, as I said, 100% organic. You got the original salt and vinegar buffalo wing, chili lime, salt and pepper, Jamaican jerk right about now. We got the cooking hot and we got the cheese. As I said, the big selling point here, instead of chips and popcorn, lots of carbs. This is 0 carbs per serving. Tastes absolutely delicious. There is a flavor that you're going to like. It is 100% organic and gluten-free, as I said. So this is a great snack. Very, very healthy. Very good for you. But more importantly, very delicious. Go to chickenskin.com, CHICKN skin.com, use the promo code BELIEVE20. Going to get 20% off your order. Chickenskin.com, BELIEVE20 for 20% off. As I say, chicken skin, have it on its own. Have it as a salad topper. Use them as nachos. Do whatever you want to do, but just know you are getting 0 carbs when you enjoy Chicken Skin, and you're enjoying 20% off when you use the code BELIEVE20 for 20% off at chickenskin.com. Where were we? All right. Did you watch this main event of the weekend? Belal Muhammad taking on Vincente Luque.
I did.
What do you think?
Man, I've been pleasantly surprised by Belal. It's cool seeing him kind of, I don't know, just kind of come up a little bit. It's like he's figured it out. The pieces of the puzzle are coming together. He's always been a really tough out for everybody, but he has a style that's just real tough to deal with. Like, to be fair, I think a lot of people get frustrated watching him fight because he's just so good at what he does. And he doesn't take a lot of risks, which is, listen, I would never talk shit about that. You know what I mean? He's very good at what he does. And he's figuring out the striking game. If I see, he's always been a fantastic wrestler. He's had really good top pressure. I see him mixing in his striking and really blending it together really well. Man, and he works to death, so he's a coworker of ours. So it's cool to see him be successful, especially against a guy like Luque, who's already knocked him out once before, and just a stylistic nightmare for everybody. I mean, Vincente Luque's taken out a lot of really, really tough guys. He took out Chiesa. He's tough, man. So I was pleasantly surprised at how seemingly easy that fight was, other than that one tough round.
Yeah, to be honest, let me back up. There we go. Yeah, no, he very, very much impressed me because Vincente Luque, as we know, he's on a hell of a streak. He's got knockout power. He's got submissions. Michael Chiesa took him down, got caught in a Doris choke in round 1. So I don't think concerned is the right word, but I was like, ooh, this is a tough fight for Belal. You know what I mean? If he takes him down, he could be in trouble. If he stays on the feet, he's going to be in trouble. But the game plan that he had, constant movement, side to side. So whether you're a wrestler or a striker, when somebody's moving that much, it's hard to plant your feet and do anything definitive. Certainly, he's not looking to land takedowns. He's looking to land strikes. But when Belal was moving and then he'd catch him off guard, he'd throw 2-3 shots and they would be constantly on his bite, left, right, frustrating the shit out of Luque, because all he wanted to do was Belal to plant his feet so they can have a good old-fashioned throwdown, and Luque's got I would say, the cleaner striking and probably the bigger power. But when you combine it with strategy, when you're mixing takedowns and all the rest of it, you keep your opponent guessing, and then you surprise them side to side, boom, shoot forward. And every time he did get the takedown, he made it count. Luque was getting up, after a little bit, but there was enough control time in for Belal to make them count. Yeah, very, very, very impressive win.
And Luque doesn't fight well moving.
No.
I think that they keyed in on that and they really took advantage of it. There's some guys that can really, they strike well on the move while they're switching stances to cut people off. And if there's anything to take away from that, I think Luque did a good job of getting up off the ground. He's got to shore up that takedown defense a little bit, and he's got to be better striking on the move. He's got to be better at cutting people off, and so I think he'll learn from it. I think he'll grow from it. But hats off to Belal. That puts him in a really pretty goddamn good place in the division.
Well, it puts him right at the top. What is he on now? Just look it up, Harrington O'Brien. I think he's on like an 8-fight win streak. There's that no contest to...
I think it's 8, yeah.
Yeah, there's a no contest to Leon, but the last 3 now, that's Luque, that's Wonderboy, that's Maya. Before that, it was Leon, and then there was a good few wins there. So he's proven to be one of the top guys out there. As I say, I thought he might struggle, but he lived up to the test. Question is now, and I liked his call out as well. Who did he call out? He called out Colby. Did he call out Hamzat as well?
I think Colby and Leon for sure. I think he called out Leon.
Yeah, that's smart because he ain't getting the title fight, right?
No.
He's kind of like where Leon Edwards was. Leon Edwards was doing great things, but he needed that big signature win. They had Diaz, and then who did he beat last time? He beat someone else. Who did he beat? Or was it just Diaz?
It was just Diaz. I think that was his last one was Diaz.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but he needed that big win. So over Nate Diaz, that was that. I think if he could get matched up with somebody like Colby, that would be great. But they're doing Colby versus Hamzat. So I think if he's waiting for that matchup, he's going to be waiting for a long, long time.
Well, and I think Leon's getting a title fight. So
Leon's getting a title fight against Kamaru. Hamzat's going to fight Colby. Who else is there in the top 5, 6?
Fuck, I
Gilbert
don't know.
Burns.
Gilbert Burns is a good one.
Gilbert Burns.
Because he had talked, there was like a weird thing where it was like him, Luque, Gilbert Burns, and Chimaev. So like they were all trying to figure out in this little 4-way thing who was fighting who. So I would suspect he probably puts him with Gilbert Burns, which they usually don't do that though. A winner versus a loser. It's usually they're usually trying to grab someone off of a win. So maybe he'll be sitting. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, listen, either way, Belal, remember the name Muhammad. Well done, my friend. Solid victory. Harrington, just set the stage for us because Anthony was commentating the LFA. I saw it, but it was one of those days, you know what I mean? You had the fights in the background. I was up and down. I was doing this, messing with the kids, yada, yada, yada. But Harrington, if you are there, in the co-main event, it ended via a technical decision when a lot of people said it should have been a disqualification. Go on, set the scene, Harrington.
Well, yeah. So you have, sorry, I'm just trying to get the names situated.
Omar Gadzhiev and Kiao Bohayo. Don't worry about it. Just say one guy. Omar Gadzhiev, Omar Gadzhiev, should I say, came off the contender. Kiao Bohayo or whatever. He came off the contender. So you don't need to know either of them. They're both tough guys. They're both very good. They both got bright futures. Hence, they were given the co-main event slot. But you fucking don't have to know Gadzhiev or Gadzhiev.
Okay.
I do because I commentated the contender. That's it.
All right. So the one who's not Gadzhiev was beating the crap out of Gadzhiev for the better part of the 3-round fight here. And then towards the end, he landed a knee. And you can see very clearly that, it was a downed opponent. The referee stepped in, he had the doctors come in. Doctors took a look at the guy and they were like, yo, let's figure this out. The referee said that, it was going to be considered an accidental foul and that they would be clear to continue. Through some talking with the doctor, they ended up waiving off the fight. And that led to the technical decision. I think the most famous example of this is Mousasi versus Weidman, where the bout gets stopped a little bit early. They go to the judges' scorecard. So far, it ended up happening twice on this same night. So
yeah, well, babe, just do us another coffee, would you, please? Well done on passing your driving test. They don't have time to get me a coffee, Anthony. This is what the world has fucking come to.
Wow,
guys. No. Listen, Harrington. Well done, but there is more famous examples. There is John Jones and Anthony Smith. There is Aljamain Sterling and Piotr Jan. But go ahead.
Well, those were different, right? So the Jan fight was considered, that was considered an intentional blow. So that's why you got the DQ off the rip. And then obviously
no,
Anthony's
I
fight
know,
was able
but
to,
yeah, no, for sure. I'm talking about fights though with the illegal knees. But the thing that I saw, and you're right, Harrington, to compare it to the Weidman Mousasi fight. You know the rule, Anthony, when you put the hand down on the canvas, right? That's how it was. The guy wasn't on his knees. He was kind of leaned over and he had one hand on the canvas. He was playing the game. You know what I mean? You know, the game's like, oh, look at that. I'm touching the mat. Therefore, you can't knee me in the face. I think that's a stupid rule.
I do too.
I don't like that rule at all.
No, I totally agree, because I hate when people are using it to their advantage. It's not just honestly, I don't know why that rule even exists. Like the knee to a downed opponent. I don't know why that matters. Like if you take the Aljo fight in consideration, if he was on
his knees though. He was on his knees.
Yeah, but like as he was on his way up. So like had he waited 2 seconds, that knee would have been up and that would have been a clean strike. So what's the fucking difference if it's a couple inches? Like I've always thought that we should allow knees to the head of a grounded opponent. I think that would change the game a little bit.
It would. It would. Sorry, I thought you were done.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I hate when people are playing the game. So I guess that's my point. I totally agree with you. And to go further, I don't understand the rule, which is another reason why I never made a big deal out of the John thing. But I had my hand and a knee down, so it wasn't even like I wasn't even close. But I hate when people like their hands are coming up and they're coming down, they're coming up, and like I'll just fire that goddamn knee and hope I get lucky.
But that's what Mousasi did, didn't he? He kind of lifted Weidman's up off the ground.
He lifted up off the ground,
and that's what people do sometimes, which is smart, because they kind of hoist them up, hand comes off the ground, and you knee him in the face. It's just absolutely stupid, because you're going to get, some accidental fouls and stuff like that. Harrington O'Brien, just look up the quote. It's been doing the rounds on social media. Daniel Cormier was kind of frustrated because he said they were calling the foul unintentional. And I might be getting this wrong, and I want to make sure, I don't want to misquote Daniel, but I think he was saying, how the hell could it be an unintentional strike? If you throw it, there's intention behind it. But I think unintentional refers to, if you throw a kick to the stomach, but it hits the groin, that's an unintentional strike. What's this? No knockout KO. What is that, Harrington? Why would you put that in the notes? I can't read it.
That's DC's quote.
Oh,
so
do you want to just read it out?
Yeah.
He said no knock on Kyle or Martin, but every single time I threw a strike in the octagon, it was intentional. They both should have been disqualified. #UFC on ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I understand that, but I guess it is unintentional when it. This is the time.
The legality of it was unintentional, and I think he's
correct.
He's reading very black and white. But I've always said that I think if someone breaks the rules and hurts someone even a little bit, even if that person can continue. I've always said that I think they should be DQ'd. So I don't disagree with him. I also disagree with the rule. I would love knees to the head of a grounded opponent, like straight up pride rules. I'm in. I
don't know about that. I want that rule eradicated, where if you have one hand down, that's classed as a downed opponent. I don't like that at all. You should still be able to knee in the face. But I think if you're on your knees, just for in terms of the acceptance of the sport, I think little things like that being eradicated, like knees to a downed opponent. Don't get me wrong. I love that, Anthony, and that's kind of my style. When I was fighting, I would have loved that all day long. You fucking allow me to soccer kick someone in the face, stamp on their head. Yeah, now we're talking Mikey B rules from the old Clitheroe days. But, the sport might not be where it is right now had those been allowed.
Mainstream wise, that's probably for the best.
Harrington and Brian, did you guys watch it? Because Anthony was commentating the LFA. What I want to talk about, and give me your opinion on this, is Omar Gadjiev, right? And when he took the knee, Harrington and Brian, what was your opinion? What was your opinion when he took the knee? Because here's what he did, and I'm not saying that he wasn't hurt. Of course he was hurt. He took a knee, right? But, he was on the floor for a long, long time. He sat on the floor, because there was a lot of pontificating going on. There was a lot of referring to the rule books. There was a lot of referees talking and dialoguing and back and forth, and the doctors checking and the referee talking to the doctor. Minutes and minutes and minutes passed, and he was still sat down on the floor. Now, he might have been very, very dazed and confused, or he might have been milking it, thinking that he was going to get disqualified. Do you know what I mean? And I just feel like at some point you might have stood up, but I'm not saying that he wasn't hurt. Of course, you know, he took a solid knee to the face. But Brian, what was your opinion on it?
Well, yeah, like you said, there was a lot of discussion going on, and like, am I going to get disqualified? Is it going to go to the decision? Like it seemed like it was just a lot of politics before. I mean, the announcer said that the doctor said he couldn't continue, like his eyes didn't look right, but.
Oh, really? I missed that part.
Yeah, but I don't know. I couldn't look at his face, but it seemed like there was a lot of questions before they decided to call it off, you know?
Yeah, but they never want to do that if they can help it. You know what I mean?
But did they take it out of the fighter's hands?
They were talking to him. Like, it was like
a lot.
Oh. And then they were going through translators, and it seemed a little fucking just business.
A little weird.
Yeah, it was a little weird. We'll put it down to that. Anyway, oh my God, Jeff, get better. Ciao, boy. Hi-oh. Yeah, fucking give your knees to yourself, baby boy. John Jones is coming back maybe this year. Anthony Smith. Dana White saying it might be Stipe Miocic for an interim title.
Yeah, I'm in. We talked about this last week. I'm just sick of talking about John and Connor and Habib and like all these other people until they're actually going to be back. If he's got a fight offer, like I'm totally down to talk about it. I'd like to see John Jones back in there. I think Stipe is a good fight. I think that's a good, I think that's a good matchup for John to come back and fight for the interim title and wait on Francis. I think that works. I think the matchup makes sense.
No, it absolutely makes sense. I mean, the next two best guys. I mean, Stipe's, has got claim to being the greatest heavyweight ever. Jones has got claim to being, potentially the GOAT or the greatest light heavyweight. All right, we know there's asterisks. We know, but still, he's got that claim, so it makes a lot of sense. And he needs to goddamn fucking fight. What is he? 35? I think he's about 35.
So. Yeah, I think he's a little bit older than me.
So he's still a young man. He's still got time, but you want to make as much money as possible. You want to fight as many. You don't want to waste your prime, is what I'm getting at. You don't want to waste your prime by sitting around and he's trying to get the best deal and all the rest of it. But if too much time passes, I think he may end up regretting that.
No, I agree. I think that you can come back, Harrington. I'm not kicking you out.
Yeah, get back here, you little son of a bitch.
I mean, look, I'm just thinking for highlight purposes, I want you guys to have as much of like a clean combo as you can without my dumb mug in there, but, keep it going.
We don't need you to make us look good or feel good or anything. Go on, what are we going to say, Hamilton?
Bad. My question is this. I mean, Stipe Miocic has fought one time, in 2021. John Jones has not fought since 2020. You got guys like Tom Aspinall, Tai Tuivasa. They're taking fights every 3, 4, 5 months. How the hell are these two fighting for an interim title when you have young killers who are active at the top of the division? That blows my mind.
Well, because they still are who they are.
Correct. I'm going to say that doesn't blow my mind at all. Stipe Miocic lays claim to being the greatest heavyweight of all time, and probably is. Defending the belt more than anybody in the toughest era against the tough competition. Right. He just lost to Francis Ngannou.
In the toughest era.
Yeah, exactly.
Of fighting, and I mean, everyone gets knocked out by Francis Ngannou other than Cyril Gane. I mean, that's the only guy that, that hasn't and got beaten by Francis. So, goddamn, my nose is stuffed up all of a sudden. Excuse me. And, like you said, Stipe is he's the greatest heavyweight of all time. John Jones is the greatest light heavyweight of all time, for sure. Yep. And potentially the greatest fighter to ever walk the planet. So, I mean, if those two guys want to fight, guys like Tai Tuivasa and Aspinall, granted, I have crazy amounts of respect for those guys, and I think they're going to do great things in the sport. They kind of have to just step aside because they don't even have an argument.
Absolutely love those guys, but you can't at this moment in time. And they would say it themselves. There's no way Tom Aspinall is going to sit here and put his resume up against Stipe or John Jones. And neither's Tai Tuivasa because they can't. And only a fool would do that. And only a fool, Harrington, would suggest such a daft thing. But I'm only kidding. We love you, brother. We love you.
A fool.
It's, oh, come on. No one's calling you a fool. So what is going on, Harrington? Throw a few of these stories at us. We've got a lot of questions. By the way, if anyone wants to send questions in, bympod@gmail.com for me or Anthony, Harrington or Brian. But Harrington, what have you got for us? What stories? Throw a little MMA stuffs at us.
Oh, MMA stuff. Okay. I was
or non-MMA, whatever you want. Go for it. Go for it.
I saw this one. It's been making the rounds on Twitter, Reddit, all over the place. So this guy, right, he tells his work, hey, I have an anxiety disorder. Please, like, do not throw me a birthday party. I don't want people gathered for me. It freaks me out, right? So he comes in, for lunch, and they throw him a surprise party against his wishes. Guy freaks out, runs out to his car, finishes his lunch, right? They then bring him into the office, and they're like, we don't like how you reacted to that. You're fired, right? You are fired from your job. He then sues the company, and they now owe him $450,000 for throwing him a surprise party.
Hold on.
You guys take on that?
So he says, don't throw me a party because I have anxiety. I don't want to be center of attention. And it's like that, isn't it? Sometimes you don't want to be center of attention, especially at work. It's lame. They're getting your little fucking shitty cake and they're all, oh, hey, happy birthday. And you're like, oh, fuck off. None of you like me. None of you invite me to functions. When's the last time?
To work for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Don't use my birthday as a way for you to get a 10-minute break, you fuckers. So then they throw him a surprise birthday. The guy shits his pants. His anxiety kicks in. And then they fired him, and then he sued them. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. So now he was awarded $450,000 in damages.
What would happen in your neck of the woods, Anthony Smith?
I mean, that sounds fucking crazy. But you gotta remember, I live in Nebraska. Anybody here is looking for an excuse to party. So there's probably not a whole lot of people here that's going to turn down a surprise birthday party. But you know who does hate surprise birthday parties or surprise parties or surprises in general?
Go ahead.
My wife absolutely hates surprises. Like, I can't. She's a bit of a control freak. She wants to control the entire world around her. So if you start having surprises, she's not controlling the situation. So I just don't surprise her anymore, or at least I try not to. There's something, I'll buy her something and just give it to her. She doesn't care about that, but like, she'll figure out if I'm trying to be sneaky and set up a thing where people are coming to the house or they're going to meet us somewhere. She'll figure it out every time, because she's so nosy and such a control freak and hates surprises so bad. She just digs in and tries to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. My wife, I threw a surprise birthday party for her 30th, I think it was. Wow, that was a long time ago. My God. No, she's not here. She doesn't listen to the podcast. Not unless she's on it, like a true egomaniac. Then she wants to see her part. Surprise. I used to surprise her a lot at the weekends. Not coming home. And I said it would be, surprise. I'm not going to be home for a couple of days. Take it easy. Those days are long gone. Don't do that anymore. But oh well, it sounds like this guy needs to toughen up. They were trying to do something nice for him. Right. God bless him. But he got $450,000 out of it. Harrington, throw some MMA.
I got another good story, real quick.
Go ahead.
So on our 1 year wedding anniversary, was also our 11-year anniversary together. So we were together for a long time before we got married. So we've been together at this point 13 years or whatever. Anyways, it's a couple years ago, and I'm trying to make this 1 year wedding anniversary special. Super special. I want it to be memorable. So talking to my friends, got this, this couple that we hang out with a lot. Their name is Nick and Lori. So I go to Nick and Lori and I'm like, all right, here's the deal. We're going to go to Kansas City. It's about a 2 or 3 hour drive from here. I'm going to book a hotel. You guys get a room at the same place. We'll have dinner. And then the next morning I'll surprise her and we'll go fucking skydiving. I thought
no, hold on. That's like, there's a surprise and there's a, hey, surprise, we're going to almost kill you. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's surprise, here's a cake, surprise, little party streamers and shit. Surprise, you're jumping out of a plane at 40,000 fucking square feet, feet high.
Yeah. She was pissed. Like, she ended up finding out the night before we were supposed to go there, and she was like, you are fucking stupid. There's no goddamn way. I'm not jumping out of a fucking plane. Fuck you. It's not happening. Turned into this big argument, right? I'm like, all right, whatever. So we end up I canceled that, but I was like, we'll still go to Kansas City. We'll take her to the Louis Vuitton store there, whatever, take her shopping. And I had her so stressed out about the skydiving thing. She ended up getting so goddamn drunk the night before that we had to cancel the whole trip because she was hungover the whole day.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
But
I'll take responsibility for that.
That is an extreme surprise.
I think I went too far. That's my fault.
No, but that's good, though. I'd love to do skydiving. Have you skydived?
Never. I really want to. We should do it.
Yeah, again.
I'm just dragging Mike into every
fucking riding races. We're going hunting. We're jumping out of fucking airplanes. We're putting GoPros on. We're doing the fucking squirrel suits of the top of Mount Kilimanjaro.
Listen,
let's
just
go.
do a week. Let's just do a week. You and Brian and Harrington, you come here. We'll start here. We'll do some fucking fun ratchet shit, and then we'll end up in Kansas City. We'll go fucking skydiving.
Hell yeah.
Cap it off.
But it would be a tandem skydive, wouldn't it? Because you can't do it by yourself at first.
Yeah.
See, that's the part that blows my mind. That's the part that I don't want to do. If I'm going to do a skydive, I want to literally do a skydive. I get it. You know what I mean? You got to do it with someone else first to find your bearings, to get used to it. But I'm like, come on, let me just jump off that fucking plane by myself.
Mike's
I've done
for
it.
Something as like a credit for when he's going to acting roles. He's like, "Fuck
You've
Tom
done
Cruise,
it?
I'll jump out of a plane."
You did it, Hamilton?
I have done it. I did it tandem. And let me tell you, like, dude, I don't know if I would have been able to pull the cord by myself. It's so freaking scary. Like, I didn't want to jump out of the plane. The tandem guy kind of he kind of forces you
What's
out.
it feel like when you're falling?
I mean,
Like
it's
you're
unlike
falling.
anything. Like, literally, the scariest part of it to me is like just how much you can't breathe because the air is rushing up at you so quickly that it's like it like chokes you. You got to like pull your head out so you're like pulled perpendicular to the air just to get a breath. But yeah, that free fall, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, all jokes aside, Anthony, do you think you would shit your pants? Because I think I would, to be honest. I've been up high in airplanes, like when I was in Afghanistan on a CSO tour, and they had the back of the stuff open and could shoot the guns and stuff off the side. But I was like, whoa, don't get too fucking close to that. If they said, right now we're going to jump off with parachutes, I'd be like, oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, I could do it, but I'd be shitting my pants for sure.
I did a bungee jump years ago. And the problem was I went out the night before and I was hammered. And I'd had hardly next to no sleep, but I still did it. I still did it for charity. But it was terrifying, absolutely terrifying. Anyway,
freaked me out.
Yeah, especially we were jumping off, and it's not too bad if you're jumping off like I don't know, a big canyon and there's like a river. We were jumping off the top of a church into concrite. Do you know what I mean?
God.
If something goes wrong, you're not getting your head a little bit wet. No, you just splattered on the floor. All right, guys, I want to tell you about Truebill.com. More importantly, Truebill. You know the one. Listen, a lot of the times you see something, you sign up for it, you subscribe, right? You forget about it, but you forget to cancel the subscription. So many people have so many things that they're paying for month after month after month, but they have no idea because trying to cancel those subscriptions can be very, very hard. That's where Truebill comes in. It's the new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions that you don't need, want, or as I say, you simply forget about. On average, people save up to $720 per year with Truebill because, listen, the companies make it hard to cancel. That is why they do it. There's a reason why, because they don't want you to cancel with Truebill. It's incredibly simple. You just link your accounts. Truebill will cancel all of your unwanted subscriptions in just one tap of a button. And the Truebill concierge is there when you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions so that you don't have to. Listen, you know what I'm talking about. I guarantee you, every single person listening to this, if you looked, there's a ton of stuff that you're paying for that you don't need to. Truebill has over 2 million users, and it has helped them save over $100 million. Like Matthew B, who says, in a matter of seconds, I saved $660 for the year on my direct TV bill, and I saved $120 for the year on my Sirius XM bill. In total, I saved $840 a year on car insurance. So listen, don't fall for the subscription scams. Start canceling today at truebill.com/believe. Go right now, truebill.com/believe. It could save you thousands of dollars per year. Truebill.com/believe. All right, where were we? Harrington, throw some MMA news at us. What have we got, buddy? Throw some topics at us without me going to the notes.
So I thought this one was kind of cool. Henry Cejudo and Demetrius Johnson got together over the weekend and they did a whole podcast breaking down like essentially their two fights, right? Like what went right for, Demetrius in the first one, what went right for Cejudo in the second one, and really just sat down and broke that down. And I've never seen anything like that before. My question for you two would be, if you could sit down with a former opponent and break down, some of the fights you've had, who would it be and why?
Well, we talked about doing this on my YouTube channel for a while now, trying to get some of the old opponents and go through it. But the old problem is doing that. It's getting the other fighter to agree at the same time. And then you've got fucking fair use laws and the copyright and YouTube want to take it down and all the rest of it. So we haven't done it yet. But Anthony, if you were to do that with one, because it's a boring question, then we're going to deflect it to you. Who would you do it with?
I'll take the boring one.
There we go.
Probably Ozdemir or Gustafsson. Just two of the real tough ones. You know what I mean? Where like, Volkan Ozdemir sneaky good. Like I know he's struggling a little bit lately, but
he's good.
When he was
top notch.
He was on a hot streak when I fought him, and he's just real sneaky. Like I thought he was just a meathead, Vulcan punch, and just that's all he did. But he was in there setting no time. So like. He was in there setting traps though, and like walking me into stuff, and it was very subtle and very sneaky, like really high level striking that was really confusing at a lot of times. So I'd like to know what he was thinking and seeing. Yeah,
that'd be nice. Do you know what popped up on my YouTube feed the other day? It was a UFC video. It was all the finishes by Anthony Smith, right? And there's a lot, by the way. Congratulations. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching it for a minute. I'm like, oh, nice. There he is. There's my guy. And I forgot that you fought and beat Hector Lombard.
Oh, yeah.
That must have felt good. Hector Lombard, man, because we looked like we might have fought a few times. I had a little bit of beef with Hector over the years, because he's one of those guys. That must have felt good.
Yeah, it felt real good. That fight was one of those moments where I kind of got a little bit of attention because he had spent the whole build up in the fight week telling everyone I don't know who this guy is. I never heard of him. I didn't even know that guy's name. Just being real disrespectful. And so I think it was at the end of the second round, I clipped him with an elbow and put him down, and he kind of shot in on my legs and sat me on my butt, and then the round ended. And I remember pushing him off of me, and I could just tell I kind of broken him, and I was screaming you know my name now, Hector? You know my name now? And I just kept screaming it at him the whole time. He's walking away, but he didn't know what to say because he was trying to figure out where the fuck he was. But I got a lot of attention for that because I just sat down. Before I sat down on the stool, Mark Montoya is trying to get my attention, and Mark's kind of a short guy, so I'm screaming over the top of Mark's head at Hector, and I don't know. That was one of those moments where I'd lost the first two rounds. He kicked the fuck out of my leg. He was hard to hit.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so I was losing going into the third before I got the finish. So it was, I don't know. It was a cool moment.
Yeah. No, I had a few run-ins over the years with him. I remember I met him in the elevator and I shook his hand and said, hey, how are you? And he's doing the old crushing my hand as hard as possible. I was like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? We're just saying hi in an elevator. Why are you trying to squash my fucking hand? Nobody shakes hands like that. Do you know what I mean?
He's that guy, though. You're
yeah,
right.
exactly. I'm like, bro, relax. You fucking poison.
I ran into him a couple times since then, and we've had fantastic interactions since then. We're not conversating or hanging out, but shake his hand real quick, say, hey, what's up, man? And we go our separate ways. There's no problems, but it wasn't like that then.
I just heard a very, very loud noise.
What was it?
I don't fucking know.
Someone breaking in?
There's no one else in the house. Everyone else is gone. Everyone else is out. But there was a loud noise. If you're an intruder, I'm with Anthony Smith. Okay? And he will fuck you up. Harrington, you put a thing here down in the notes. Number 12, final thing on there, right? This is maybe this will materialize, but it probably won't.
What the hell is number 12?
Well, I found the post on the UFC Reddit that the UFC is booking Poirier versus Rafael dos Anjos for UFC 275 in Singapore. Right? I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't think they are. I think when you look at that fight card, it's stacked already. They would not throw Poirier versus Rafael dos Anjos, which is a primo fight. That's a big
goddamn good fight.
And they've already got, what have they got? UFC 275. It's Glover Teixeira taking on
Yuri Prohaska.
They got Joanna Jędrzejczyk taking on Thingy Bob. In fact, let me bring up the card. Yeah. And I'm going to be there. I'm commentating that one, by the way.
Damn it! I'm that's a pay-per-view, right? Yeah. So I'm working that one.
Oh, in Singapore?
No, but they're not letting us go to
Anthony,
Singapore.
come on.
I think I'm doing it remote from Bristol, Connecticut.
Oh, for fuck's sake, we could have done BYM Singapore special.
I know, that'd be sweet.
The Singapore Sling. Yeah, it's got Valentina Shevchenko, Talia Santos, Glover Teixeira, Yuri Prohaska, Marvin Vettori, Robert Whittaker, Jacob Malkoon, Brendan Allen. And yeah, so hey, listen, if they had Dustin Poirier onto there, that'd be absolutely fucking fantastic. Right, let me ask you this. And my dad listens to the podcast. I'm going to throw this at you. Right, my dad, obviously, I live in America. He's in the UK. My dad and little Mick, his mate. My dad's 6'6". Little Mick is, he's a short person. Back in the day, you could call them a midget, but that gets frowned upon these days. Sorry, Mick. And they came to every single one of my fights. Didn't matter where it was. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to treat them for all those years. So I said to my dad, Dad, I'll fly you and Mick out to Singapore for the pay-per-view. I'll get you flights, hotels, tickets, my treat. And he said, oh, great. Anyway, he's come back. He said, Mick can't come. He can't make it for that trip. He said, I'll come by myself. I'm like, oh, can't come by yourself, Dad. Because that's putting me under a lot of pressure. Do you understand what I'm saying? Entertain him. Yeah. So now I felt, he said, I'll come by myself, son. And I'm like, oh, Dad, you can't really come by yourself because like fight week, like I'm doing research. We're doing meetings. I'm doing this, that, and the other. If he's there, I'm going to feel obliged. If he's sitting down at the bar by himself, to be down there with him, to be looking after him, not that he needs my help or looking after. He's a fucking grown-ass man. He's my father. But still, as the guy that was bringing him here, to not see him, I'd feel terrible. Whereas if he was with his friend, they could do their own thing. And then afterwards, we could stick around for a couple of days, have a couple of drinks, go out for dinner, do some touristy shit or whatever. So I feel bad because I said, Dad, you can't come now.
Oh man,
should I feel bad?
No, I mean, yeah, you should feel bad, but I don't think it's. I think I get it. I think he would understand that too. Yeah. Like he doesn't want to go to Singapore by himself. I bet it sounds like a lot of fun, but once he got there, you'd be working and busy, and you got to research and you got to really fucking I get it, bro. You got to tune in to that fight card, and so you can do a fantastic job on the on the call because it's hard if you're not prepared.
People don't get it. Yeah. I mean, you commentate the LFA, and I guess your research can be even harder, right? I mean, I'm not sure. Yeah.
So hard.
Yeah. Because go on.
They're just. I hope no one listening was on this card, but number one, they don't have a lot of fights. Some of those guys. There's a lot of there was some debuters. There was or debuters that were debuting the LFA or
debutantes.
Yeah, debutantes. They just don't. There's not a lot of fights out there. Number one, and number two, if you got a guy, even a guy that's a little bit good, he probably hasn't fought anybody else that's very good. So you're not getting a valid read on what their style is or what they're capable of or how good they actually are because they haven't fought anybody at that point. If you get a guy that's really good, he's just been smashing people. So you don't know how good he actually is either, probably, and you don't know what he's good at or where his game is or which direction he wants to go, what his style is. And then the worst part is then they expect you to sit up there on TV during this broadcast where everybody's listening and predict where these people are going to go next, what he needs to do here, at one point in time, Ron Crux said, well, Anthony, what's he need to do to get out of this? Like, I can tell you what he's supposed to do. But to be honest, I bet that fucking guy doesn't know that, and it's not a knock on them. They're just at the very beginning of their career, a lot of them. So that they don't always go the correct direction. So like sometimes they make you look stupid. You're like, well, he's got to get a wrist control. He's got to pull it down here. And sometimes they're just getting out of shit with pure heart and determination and just want to,
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's hard. It's really tough.
We're going back to the original point. That's right. Because it's horrible. It's a horrible feeling because sometimes, when I'm commentating the UFC and it is, I guess, like the more star-studded the card, for example, I haven't done many, but when you commentate a pay-per-view, it's a little bit easier because these are household names. These are champions. These are people that I fucking don't miss a fight for. Some of the on the fight nights, you maybe got people making their debuts. You got people that have had a couple of fights, you know. And as much as I watch almost every fucking single UFC fight, there's some, excuse me, that maybe you're not familiar with. So you got to watch the fights. You got to go to the social media. You got to figure out who they are. And to your point, and to the original point, like to my father or to other people, because when I was commentating in London recently, my wife, we're in London. I'm like, babe, we're not sightseeing. We're not doing this. I'm working here now. Do you know what I mean? I've got to watch these tapes. I've got to go to the social medias. I've got to read interviews or watch interviews about them. You know, we're not going down the Tower of fucking London because I've got a job to do on Saturday. Because it's the worst feeling in the world, being on live TV and somebody throws you a question about this fighter and you're like, I don't know much about this person. So I always want to be as prepared as possible.
Yeah.
So the research side of things, it's very, very time consuming. Like I'm commentating next Saturday. That's essentially next week's blocked off. I mean, yeah, look, you know, I'll work out, I'll do this, whatever. I can do a few other little things. But generally the week is research. Excuse me.
Yeah. So I did the LFA thing. I got home Sunday morning. Then I've been here today. I go to Chicago tomorrow to do some other stuff, but I'm working the desk on Friday and Saturday. So like my whole week, once I'm traveling, like I'll do the things I got to do when I'm on the road, do a little bit of work stuff. But other than that, I'm like holed up in a room watching fight film over and over and over. And you know what? There's not a lot of, and this isn't a knock to anybody on the card. If anything, I think it's giving them more credit, like, or at least giving them the respect that they deserve, because a lot of those names I'm not super familiar with or watched a ton of their fights. I'm going to dig super deep into those people. So like, there's just not a bunch of, you know, there's not a whole shit ton of big names on the card or like super recognizable ones. So I got to work harder on that one.
What is your system? What is it? Because I don't know how to do spreadsheets and databases and all that type of stuff. I wish I did. But my system, mine's all in my notes. I fucking can't stop coughing. Yeah, it's all in my notes on my iPhone. So anytime, excuse me, like if you just give me a name, and I'll go to my notes, Bosch. And every time I commentate them, I go to their name on the notes and I add to it and I add to it and I add to it. Like,
no shit. Here? And you keep it on there.
Yeah, look, Chris Gutierrez. I got fucking, look, there's all on Chris Gutierrez. There's a lot of stuff there. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, no shit. Look at that.
And every time,
you just add a note.
Luina Carolina, Bosch, 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 Bosch. And every time. So every time I just type in their name, I search it, boom, and it comes up with tons of stuff. So that's my system. I find it works for me. The problem is that when we're in the fighter meetings, right, I'm on my phone the whole time. And I think people think I'm texting. So I've always got to say, I'm not texting. I'm taking notes in my phone. But still, anyway, there we go.
Everything I do is handwritten. Everything. Oh, shit. You need a break?
No, I don't need a break. It's driving me crazy, though. You're a John Anik special then. John Anik has the tiniest little handwriting. Have you seen it? When he writes his notes on his cards?
I don't use cards. I don't use cards. I use that's why they send me the fighter bios and all the breakdowns and all that stuff super early. So then I'll just go through, I'll pull their name up, I'll pull up their fight film on the fight link, and then I'll, so like I got 2 computer screens, so I got the formats on one, so I know what I'm talking about and where we're going and what direction. On the other screen is the fight is playing. It looks like a fucking bomb went off when I'm done. Like there's empty beer cans and there's papers.
Bush light all over the place.
Just fucking everywhere. Then I got a pile of paper on one side. I got a pile of paper, like the ones on the left are the ones I haven't studied yet. Once I study them, I write all over the fucking packet. I mean, the whole fucking packet's just covered in my handwriting everywhere. Then I keep that one. I get rid of their bio. It's on the other side. And then I spread out the fight card. It looks manic, but once it's done, it's all super organized.
But when you've written all that down, you just throw those pieces of paper away. See what I'm saying?
I do when I'm done with it.
You got to put them in the notes, brother. Put them in the iPhone. They're there. They're kept. The little mementos, little souvenirs of the time you spent
that's
studying.
Smart. I never thought about that.
Yeah, no. Smart. The problem is with handwriting for me is that my handwriting's terrible. And if I put if I put effort into it, my handwriting's pretty good. Mm-hmm. But if I'm scribbling down some fucking notes nice and quick, I'm not penning it like I'm taking a test at school. I'm scribbling away. And then when I go back to it, I'm like, yeah, I'm fucked if I know what that says. I have no idea what that says. Bacon and egg, Harrington, show yourself. Give us a good topic. Don't give us a boring topic. Give us a good topic. Give us something funny. Give us something with a break. Give us something MMA, non-MMA. What have you got? While I cough, I'm sorry.
I mean, that was a very wide descriptor of things you may or may not like. I mean, MMA, I got this one I think is kind of interesting. An undefeated welterweight who's been
I think this is what we call a slow news week. But go on.
I disagree. I mean, we have an undefeated welterweight who's been finishing people left and right.
What's his name?
Shavkat Rakhmonov.
That is not his name.
So close.
That
so
is not
close.
his name. Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Okay.
He's a bad dude.
He is a very bad dude. He's 15-0, has a finish in every single one of his wins, has only gone out of the first round once in his UFC career. Now he wants a ranked fighter, and he was calling for Neil Magny by name. Neil Magny does not take kindly to all that and was like, yes, let's sign the papers. Let's get this done. So now we got this unranked former M1 global champion fighting for the number 10 spot against Neil Magny. What do you guys think of that?
So this is what I'm talking about. Harrington, I gave you many opportunities. I said something decent, something juicy, something big, something MMA, something non-MMA. Shavkat Rakhmonov may well be a future champion. Yeah, but he ain't fucking sending that YouTube algorithm into overtime by people going, let's talking about Shavkat. Oh my God, let's discuss Shavkat Rakhmonov. Bam, 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 bam. We're making news. Shavkat Rakhmonov talk. Let's go. I love Shavkat. He's fucking awesome. He's very, very good.
He's fucking good too.
He's
Shavkat versus Hamzat. That's the fucking real fight. That's the fight.
Shavkat versus Neil Magny, though, is what Harrington's throwing at you. What does that do?
Well, that's also a pretty goddamn good fight too. I mean, we're gonna see how good. I mean, I believe he's very, very, very good. Like he's gonna be a world champion at some point in time. I have no doubt because I love watching that guy fight. He's fucking good. But we're gonna find out how good he really is because Neil Magny's no bitch. Like that guy is a tough fight for anybody.
He is no bitch. But here's what I said to Harrington to do. To just Google MMA in the news and Google and see if there's any breaking stories. There isn't.
Maybe I got a different Googler. Who knows?
Oh, well, do you know what happens to mine? When I Google something on my laptop and it's driving me crazy, it changes to Bing. Nobody wants fucking Bing. Nobody wants that search engine. Go on, go ahead.
The first one.
Throw it at me, Smith.
The first two are funny. Joshua Fabia claims UFC sabotaged Paulo Costa in the lead up to the Adesanya fight.
Joshua Fabia is a total dickhead, but I would love to hear what his theory is. Please click on that.
Yeah, I just clicked on it. It says, where's it? Here's Paulo Costa drinking 2 bottles of wine to go to sleep. Nobody's asking, why was it hard to go to sleep? Fabia said of Costa's post-fight claims, and I'll tell you why. The W Hotel is shaped like a curve. On the inside of the curve of the building is a racetrack in Abu Dhabi. Probably Formula One, supercars, blah, 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 blah. What happens is the night before the fight, the fucking racetrack is going until 3 in the morning. The noise didn't start until 10, but then it went to 3 or 4 in the morning. It was insane. So he's saying they sabotaged him because of the racetracks. That's why he had to drink to go to sleep.
Well, if they sabotaged Paulo Costa, they sabotaged me as well. You know what I mean? Because there is a racetrack there.
Is it loud?
It's loud during the day. It does not go until 3 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? I think it stops at a very decent hour, like 9 or 10 o'clock. Because our problem was when we were there, the fights were going through all night. So we were trying to sleep during the day. So the fucking kept coming by. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. And then on top of that, you get a knock on the door. It'd be housekeeping. Oh, we want to clean your room. I'm like, no, I'm trying to sleep. I put do not disturb on. And then there'd be a knock on the door. You got to come down for your COVID test. And then the next day, you got to go down for your results. So sleeping during the day wasn't easy. But yeah, though Joshua Fabia, he's out of his mind.
Who's the guy fucking interviewing that guy?
Who is still interviewing him? Yeah, nobody. He's a fucking loser. Paulo Costa drank 2 bottles of wine the night before a fight. Have you ever drank the night before a fight, Anthony?
Yeah, a lot.
Me too.
Like drunk? No, never.
No,
but like I've had a beer at dinner. You know,
I always had a beer. I've always probably close to every fight. I've probably had a beer or two with dinner after your weight cut. Just relaxes you, get a chill.
Sleep,
Exactly.
it just slows you down a little bit. Like not slows you down, but like it relaxes you at dinner and then you fall asleep and sleep well. Yeah, for sure.
Sit down with the family, with the team, get a nice meal, a glass of wine and a beer. I used to always say, well, it's a lot of carbs, isn't it? There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I used to do. I used to have a Shandy. Have you ever had a good Shandy?
No,
half
I've
lemonade,
never had one.
half Sprite, half beer. It's fucking good, man. On a hot day, it's delicious.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, there's a negative connotation to it. You know what I mean? In England, if you're a grown man and you order a Shandy, you get abused. You get called a Shandy Quaffer. Yeah, it's like a girly
Shandy
drink.
what?
Quaffer. Shandy Quaffer.
What's the Quaffer?
I don't know, but here he is. Mick the Shandy Quaffer, as I've been known to be called many times. But yeah, on a hot day and a glorious day of sunshine, a nice Shandy.
Yeah, by a pool. That sounds nice.
Nice. It's delicious.
That sounds nice.
It's delicious. Today we are welcoming back Ipvanish Vpn to the show. You know the deal. Ipvanish has been a long-time sponsor of ours, so it's so great to have them back. And let me tell you about Ipvanish. If you care about the security of your online activity, and you really should, the easiest way to protect yourself is with Ipvanish VPN. Rated 4 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, Ipvanish provides an encrypted connection for all of your internet traffic, helping to prevent websites, Wi-Fi providers, or even hackers from intercepting your data. You know, we're talking all your financial details, personal information, online activity is completely safe from threats with Ipvanish. Okay, you're not going to get hacked. You're not going to have people logging into your bank account, people hacking your Instagram, your social media, and all that stuff, and changing your passwords and blackmailing you. Believe me, that stuff goes on. Okay, Ipvanish eradicates all of that. And also, if you're in other countries, you can maybe access certain pornographic websites. What do I know? But still, get started. If you're in Abu Dhabi, trust me, it's going to come in handy. Get started with this limited time offer and save 50% off your monthly and annual subscriptions by going to ipvanish.com/believe. 50% off, ladies and gentlemen. One more time, that is ipvanish.com/believe. And that's all lowercase, by the way. Okay, where were we? Anyway. All right, Brian, what have you been up to? Have you got any good questions for us? You said we got a lot of questions today.
Yeah, there's
how are you?
Questions.
Brian, if you see in the comments and the comments, you are loved, Brian.
Yeah,
people
it's wild.
Saying, more Brian on the podcast. More Brian.
It. Thank you, everybody.
So this is we need to think of a segment with Brian on Brian's bit.
I'm better on the spot, man.
You know, just but you come in and you get what's on your chest. I can't speak today. I need to cough again. We
can do that. However, the things that bother me are not necessarily the best topics for this show.
Well, what's bothering you right now? Let's just do one and see if it fits.
We should not do that. I've been watching videos coming out of China, and we should not talk about what's bothering me right now.
Oh God! Well, what
China's
kind of
in the middle of a massive lockdown in Shanghai. Have you seen that shit?
Yeah, and if the people who are putting these videos out are not bullshitting, there's it's like literal hell. It's like a
Is
real.
this the one where they're putting fucking cats and shit in bags and leaving them on the side of the road?
Yeah, dude, and motherfuckers are jumping out of buildings because they can't get food. Like, it's wild. And
hold on, putting cats in bags at the side of the road?
Yeah, they're fucking killing people's pets when they test positive, so the pets don't leave the apartment and go infect other people.
Yeah, but they're like putting them in fucking bags alive.
Yeah, and then piling them on the side of the road. This is really disturbing material
really
here.
Fucked up stuff.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
like the things that bother me are the deep dark corners of the internet.
Mike's like, stop right now.
Yeah. I get that.
Edit this bit out. We're getting demonetized. No, I don't give a shit. I could not care less. Do we have any questions, Brian? Remember, if you've got anything, send it into bympod@gmail.com. We love the interaction. We love the videos. We love the silliness. What have we got, buddy?
We have so many questions.
Well, let's go through some of them because we're running out of things to talk about here.
Yeah,
it's
a slow news week.
It's one of those weeks. We haven't got a big pay-per-view coming up. We have got Charles Oliveira taking on Justin Gage in a few weeks, though. Fuck, what a fight that's going to be. But still, we've got lots of questions to fall back on. So, Bri, go ahead.
Harrington texted me a minute ago. He was like, oh, if they come back to me, pull this one up. And I'm like, we should go to questions. All right.
Oh, you mean pull up this topic?
Yeah.
All right, now I want to know, what was the topic?
Number 2 in the notes. You can look at it in a second. It's just, well, we'll go to questions.
This is the house on Zillow getting roasted for having too many of those goofy eat, pray, love style pieces of art, including a hilarious one over the mantle bed. What does it say over the mantle bed? Because now I kind of want to know.
It's like eat, pray. Oh, is that the welcome to Pound Town sign?
It says welcome to Pound Town.
Oh, Jesus, Harrington.
This is a child's show.
I mean, he is a child.
I am.
He puts that in the notes. Somebody has a fucking welcome to Pound Town sign over the bed. And he's like, we're going to break it down.
Like, we're going to talk about it.
I just realized I can't say anything about him being a child because I have a fucking Mega Man hand.
Yeah, but that's
drugs in it.
Yeah, full of drugs. No, that's okay. That's okay. I mean, I do have I want to be careful before I say this, but the eat, pray, love, and the live, laugh, love. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure my sister has one, so I'll keep that down. Do you know what I mean? But you don't get none of that shit in my house. What about you, Anthony?
It's fucking everywhere. My house is just decorated like no one lives here. It's you would never know.
It looks lovely, but I can see in the background.
That's my bedroom. It's I got a fucking plant, a tree, and I got a fucking tree right here in front of my fireplace. And like
real?
No, depending on where you're sitting though, you can't see the fucking TV from right here.
God damn!
Like I got this couch. I got this couch in my fucking bedroom, but if you sit on the left side of it, you can't always see the TV.
You need to get a feng shui expert in there,
or just get rid of the tree. Just fuck the tree off.
I should just take the tree.
Just get rid of
I'm gonna take the tree.
Say, what's your wife called?
Her name?
Yeah,
Michaela. I thought she just came in here. What are you doing?
Michaela, we're getting rid of the tree.
Turn that fan off and tell your mom that me and Michael are getting rid of the tree.
We're getting rid of the tree. 100%. Go on, Brian.
My kid came in here.
What have we got? Tell him to never do that again. Ever.
All right. So this question is for Harrington.
Oh God.
So
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I'm gonna need you to pop up there, Mike. There you go.
Are you scared, Harrington?
No, I'm not scared at all. I just wanted to take this moment while I am getting a bit of screen time to say that if you are enjoying this on YouTube, make sure you hit the follow button, hit the notification bell, and find out whenever we drop a new episode. If you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you find podcasts, hit the follow button or subscribe to the podcast and leave a positive review. 5 stars would be appreciated. We really we like that. It helps with the algorithm. And if you want to get over 300 episodes of this podcast you can't find anywhere else, GasSizzleNetwork.com, promo code BYM for 7 days free.
That is true, everything he just said, but we were about to start a question. Like, that just messed with the flow of the show. Do you know what I mean? There could have been a more opportune time, a more suitable, appropriate moment to drop that in.
No, that's when everybody was on the edge of their seat. So I got them like, I know when to plug. No. I know when to plug.
Harrington you look like, I don't know. You look like some Tibetan monk or something that's been dropped off in New York.
He looks nervous. He looks nervous about this.
Let's play this question, Brian. Let's see what's going on.
Before Harrington blue balls us again.
Guys, what's up? My name is Abyssal. Today I have a question for Harrington. Prime, 2-eyed Bisping versus all teeth included, top shape, Anthony Smith, 195 catch weight. Who takes it and how? This is for you. You might want to stand up.
What is this?
It's for you. I think it's the national anthem.
And victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save our queen. You didn't know I could sing, did you, Anthony? I mean, that was some real singing.
That was great. That was great.
All right. You can stop that now. Well, that's just called shit stirring, isn't it?
That's a lot of shit stirring.
That's just a bit of shit.
Answer the fucking question, Harrington.
Yeah, Harrington.
I'm interested too.
And just remember who sent you that Christmas bonus. You know,
I mean,
I remember who's more than likely going to fly off the handle.
Yeah. young,
enough.
full of testosterone, two eyes.
Two eyes, and kind of sketchy.
Well, I mean, you know,
Nebraska, wild Oklahoma. Where are you from again?
Nebraska.
I didn't write the first time.
Can't be trusted.
Cannot be trusted. He's got multiple guns. His 10-year-old daughter could level
You ever
Clitheroe.
been shot by a kid?
No. Never been shot by an adult. You ever been shot by a fucking kid, Hamilton?
I have not been shot by a kid. Damn, that does change things. Anthony has so many guns in his house.
Fucking Mini Mike's coming after you.
I don't have a mini one.
Dish.
I need a bobblehead.
That's what I look like with my shirt off, guys. Just like that. Oh dear. We gotta do something, Anthony. We're gonna have a little roll. We're gonna have a roll, a little spar. You know, friendly spar. Exactly.
For sure.
Some bonus content. You can kick the fuck out of me. I'm like, yeah, I'm old.
Did Mike just run away without answering the question?
I know. What an absolute pussy. Go on, Brian. Do we have a proper question? Something to talk about?
Yes. Here's a question from Jordan McDonald.
I'm back. My speech therapist would be disappointed in me if she heard me on the episode 386. My question today is, what's the worst near-death experience any of you have ever had?
Oh.
Go ahead.
Do you have one off the top of your head? Because I
got like 5.
Yeah, of course you do, because you're a psycho. I mean, I'm sure I've nearly died many times. I've had a gun put to my head in South Africa. I had a guy come to my house and try and burn me down when I was about 17. I've had a few things like that. But go on, give me your top one while I stoke the
I don't know what the top one would be, but I had one last summer. Actually, I had 2 last summer.
When you jumped out of an airplane with your wife?
No, both of them in my Razor. So the first one, we were in Moab in Utah, and we were doing this rock climbing, and there was 2 different trails. There was a Jeep trail and a Razor trail. So my Razor's bigger than like normal Razors, so I took the Jeep kind of road. Of course,
and you've got the big boy. You got the big one.
It was fucking stupid though here, because I got all hung up on this rock, and I just kept bouncing to my left side. And so like every time, it's hard to explain, but every time I would get into the gas, like I was throwing rocks, but I was sliding to the edge of the mountain. And so I look back, and my left rear tire is literally hanging off the edge of this cliff. And I have 3 other people, my wife and then 2 friends in the back. And my wife gets terrified, so she slowly gets out, but we're like teetering on the edge of this. Like we'd have fallen 200 feet off the edge of this cliff. So we ended up being okay, but it was really fucking sketchy for a second. And then, I don't know, 4 months later, I was in West Virginia, like the fucking butthole of West Virginia, like deep, like no service, no houses, like no civilization. And I like to go on night rides when I'm by myself. Like during the day, I take my wife and kids and we all ride together with the group. But at nighttime, us crazy dads like to go out and we can ride like psychopaths like we really want to, but we can't when our families are with us. So there was this big hill, and I'm just fucking hauling ass up this hill. But it's dark out. It's like midnight, and it's really steep. But by the time I get to the top of it, I'm probably doing like 55. And right when I crested, like right over the top of it, it was a hard right turn. Well, I'm at the top of a mountain, but I couldn't see it. So I went to slam on my brakes, but I had like a phone charger and like other shit in my Razor, and they'd wrapped around the brake pedal. So I didn't have any brakes, like not full brakes. I only could push it like halfway. So I have 2 feet pushing on one on top of the other, on top of the brakes, trying to stop. And I slide right off the edge of the fucking cliff or off this mountain. And again, it's, we're talking 100-foot straight drop before I even hit anything, except for the trees that stopped me before I got there. So I slid all the way off the edge and then stopped, like completely nose down into like three trees about as big around as your wrist. Stopped me from going all the way. And so the guys that I was with, they hurried up and backed up and hooked, like right away, the guy that was behind me hooked his winch to my bumper and then at least pulled my ass end down back on the ground. And we just sat there. And at least I was, but he was so fast on the because it was so cracking, like the limbs and stuff were cracking.
So when you say the winch, sorry, you mean like the cable and it'll pull you in. That's the beauty of having those things, right? Fuck me.
For sure. Super sick. You know, have you ever seen that Jurassic Park movie? Like the original?
I know what you're talking about.
Where the tree, it's falling down.
Yeah.
That was what was starting to happen. And as I was sliding down, so he just hooked the winch to my bumper right away so we could figure out what the fuck we were going to do to get me out. But at least I was going to hold me up so I didn't go anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah. And we, it ended up being fine. We got a couple other razors. They drug me out and, we rode the rest of the night. But that was pretty sketchy.
Brian?
I almost fell off a mountain one time too. I was in New Mexico. I actually have a picture of it pulled up right here. And
whoa.
We lost the trail up at this is the Tooth of Time. And we lost the trail right up at the top. And we ended up like hitting somewhere right around where my cursor is. And,
oh my God.
And I fucking slid down and I got caught by like a tree that was like the size, like it shouldn't have held me. And I had to get my buddy to come and help me climb up.
Where was that? New Mexico, you say?
Yes, sir. Cimarron, New Mexico.
That does seem terrifying. For me, I mean, when I was in South Africa in 2019, I've told this story, so I'll keep it quick. I was coming on from a night out. You have the weekends off when you're filming something. So Friday night, me and some of the cast went out for dinner. We were doing the TV show Warrior with Bruce Lee. And we've had a few drinks. And the taxi pulls up and it's a 4-way crossroads. And to pull up right outside of my hotel, he would have had to go all the way around the one-way system of the city again. He said, but if you get out here and just walk up there like 100 yards, you're there, rather than driving all the way around. So I said, yeah, sure. But I wasn't looking which way he pointed because I'm in the back of the cab. I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, yeah. And I get out and I've got 4 ways. So I walk down that way for about 100 yards. I'm like, nah, this ain't right. I come back. I walk down another one. I'm like, this ain't right. It's like 2:00 in the morning. I'm in a sketchy part of the city. I pull my phone out. I'm looking like a fucking tourist. You know what I mean? So then a bunch of homeless guys all come around. They're all like bothering me and asking for money. They're being a little forceful, but I can handle that. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, all right, fuck off. Hey, listen, I haven't got any money. Leave me alone type thing. And I'm like arguing with them a little bit because they were being a little pushy. But then all of a sudden, this fucking car just drives along, mounts the pavement. 2 guys jump out, shoot one guy with a fucking gun. Get in the car. Get in the car. I was like, whoa. And I shit my fucking pants. They didn't ask for my wallet or anything like that. They literally just wanted me to get in the car. They're like, if you don't get in the car, you're dead. I'm like, I feel like if I get in the car, I'm a dead man. You know what I mean? But as I said, I was looking at my phone, right? I was trying to find my way back. So I had my phone in my hand and this guy's got a gun to my head. And I thought, I'm going to fucking die here. So I called my wife because I just want to say, hey, tell the kids I love them, love you. But I think this is it. And then as it's ringing, I think that's a pretty fucked up thing to do. Your mind works a million miles an hour. Something for me to explain takes a second to think about, but it just took me 30 seconds to explain it. But in my mind, I'm like, call her. Then I'm like, don't call her. But I'd already pressed call. So I hang up and the guy's got a gun to my head and my wife's trying to call me back. And I'm like, for fuck's sake, babe, I'm kind of in the middle of something. Somebody's got a fucking gun to my head. But he's got the gun to my head. But then the homeless people going, he doesn't know where he's going. He doesn't know where he's going. And they start talking to each other in their local language, Afrikaans. And they kind of forget about me. And the guy the gun comes down and they start arguing amongst one another. And they're clearly fucking high on drugs or some shit. And I just see my opportunity to go, woof. I fucking push him as hard as I could. He went fucking rolling down the hill. I just turned around and legged it. I just legged it that way. Unfortunately, there was my hotel. I went in. I was like, don't fucking tell people that it's safe around here. Because I did. I said, what's it like around here at night? Is it safe? Oh, yeah, very safe. Don't worry about it.
So you just start screaming. Fuck you guys.
I was like, what the fuck are you doing? I just had a gun to my head. I'm from Clitheroe. Okay. I shit my pants. I'm going to go to my room and cry now. Okay. I am not Anthony Smith. I'm not used to this fucking gunplay nonsense. Okay. In England, we like to stab people. I'm not used to fucking all these guns. My God. No, but I did shit my pants.
And nothing came of it. Like they didn't follow you to the hotel?
No. I just sprinted and they didn't even chase after me. As I say, my hotel was right there though. Right there.
Fucking Christ. That's way scarier.
Yeah, well, life's cheap down there, apparently. And I said this before, so we'll move on to the next question. But yeah, the woman that picked me up in the morning to take me to set, I told her what happened, and she said, "Oh yeah." She said, "On the locals don't drive on the freeways between 2:00 in the morning and 6:00 in the morning." I said, "Why not?" They said, "Well, what they have is they have these massive like shanty towns called the townships, so all just made of like corrugated iron and wood and cardboard and shit." Two guys will like grab a massive rock, carry it out into the freeway, dump it there, and then a car doesn't see it because it's dark, hits it, and then they'll come out and they'll murder whoever it is and just rob them.
Rob them. Fucking
yeah. But I do want to go there on holiday with my family, and Rebecca's like, "No, we're not going there. You were almost murdered." But I want to go. It's amazing. South Africa is fucking beautiful. You got the big five.
It's not beautiful dead.
You got penguins. You can jump in cages with sharks and go shark diving. Would you do that?
Yeah, for sure. Not in South Africa, though.
I want to do that.
You just convinced me never to go there.
No, I'm going. I'm taking my wife and kids.
We need some South Africans to call in, give us some questions, and tell us how where to actually go.
Listen, you're going to go down Nebraska. You're going to act all tough. I'm going to take you to South Africa, bro. Now we're going to really fucking roll the dice. You know what I mean?
The South Africans where to go. They're going to set you up.
Well, that's a sweeping generalization. I've met a very lot of nice South Africans.
Yeah, me too. I used to live with some in Florida.
Anyway, go on. Give us a question, Brian.
All right. We got one here from Edward Shea, who is also on a mountain. Sticking to a theme.
Okay.
Hey, guys. My name is Eddie. Big fan of the podcast. Just finished last episode while I was on this backpacking trip. I just thought I'd ask a question. And so I'm not sure if you guys talked about it before, but what do you think about open scoring? Ariel Helwani never shuts up about it. And so, what are you guys thinking about it? Would you like that idea? Between maybe like rounds before rounds 3, rounds 5, having open scoring. Yeah. Love the podcast. Keep it up.
Well, thank you very much. Enjoy your hike. Looks very pleasant and beautiful where he's at. Open scoring. We know about this. We know what it is. Mm-hmm. What are the negatives? Because I see the positives. What are the negatives?
Yeah, I can't really think of any other than and sometimes I get a little bit offended by it. Like I hear people saying that if a guy's up 2 rounds and goes in the 3rd round that he's going to fight safe.
They're going to coast.
Yeah, it's impossible. Unless you're that much better than your opponent, the fight's probably not going to be that exciting anyways. So I don't think that people understand how hard it is to coast in a fucking UFC fight. There's that doesn't exist. Like maybe surviving, maybe that's what they're talking about. Have you ever been in a fight where you were able to coast?
Yeah, well, it's just not the way I used to fight. You know what I mean? Of course, you would have a game plan. You would have a game plan and try and follow that. But I do understand, that what is the one negative, that if they think somebody's up, and if you can clearly see it, say, listen, it's been highlighted up there. You can see it on the scorecards. You're ahead. All you've got to do to win this, and let's just say it's a world title fight. And you're right, Anthony. Generally, by nature, fighters like us, what we do, not Jake Paul, we don't coast. But if you're there and it's a world title fight and you've got a respected opponent and it's very tough, but you've managed to be ahead, and if you just stay ahead and you coast and you dance around and you do everything you can to not engage, have side-to-side footwork, get on your bike, I think that's what they're saying. But I don't think, I don't buy that, but I understand.
But then what if the other person is, for a fact, then the other person knows they're going to lose, so they're going to be going ballistic. Yeah. So you can't really coast because you have another, unless the other guy has just accepted the fact that he's going to lose and you want to coast, I could see that being an issue that may come up. But I would see a guy that would be going for broke and leaving it all in there versus a guy that's got the win. I feel like that excitement factor could be even higher because there's a little bit of drama there because one guy's going to win if he just makes it out of the round, but then this other guy also knows that, so he's going fucking crazy to try to get a finish. I don't know. Definitely
it's a possibility. Definitely has excitement, as you say. And the only way around it, because timidity is a rule. If you're not engaging, You know what I mean? If you're not engaging in the fight, that is a foul. So I guess that would give the referees more to look at, because if one guy's clearly ahead on the scorecards and they're not engaging in round 5 or round 3, the referee can say, right, hold on a minute. Well, you just lost a fucking point, dickhead, because we know what you're doing. You're just dancing around. You're not engaging in the fight, and that's a foul. So you lost a point. You know what I mean? So that could combat that. But I don't think we'll ever see it. I don't think that'll ever be fully implemented, but I do.
They do it a little bit in Kansas.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, for the Invicta shows, they've been doing it. I think a couple of the LFA shows that have been there, I think they've done it. I've never been to one, so I'd be really interested to go there and go to a show and see how it works. But there's a couple places doing it. I don't know if the UFC will ever adopt it, but
I don't think so. I think Dana, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I've seen him a couple of times at press conferences. He's been asking about that, and he shot it down pretty quickly. And I think that's what they think. They think people are going to coast. To your point, I don't think we coast, but I think if I was behind on a scorecard, that'd be beautiful to know. It'd be very advantageous. But I guess the person ahead, I don't think that would be disadvantageous to me. You know what I mean? I'd be like, because you're winning anyway in a fight, generally.
For the most part, yeah.
I'm fucking up. Yeah, look, he's covered in blood. And the doctor's checking him up every 2 minutes, and I'm fine. I ain't gonna mark on me. Yeah. I don't need a scorecard to tell me that I'm ahead. I know I'm ahead.
And I know Ariel's point. Ariel's point is, what other sport do you not know the score in? When you're competing. So I would like to know, but it's not a deal breaker for me. Like it is what it is. I'm used to it.
It's interesting though. I guess it does provide an extra element of excitement, if you will. You know what I mean? It could. Potentially, but it could go the other way as well. Anyway, all right. Thank you very much for that question. Brian, the floor is yours. Potentially.
All right. All right. So we got a few more here. I'm not sure how much longer we're gonna go, but
we'll do 2 more. How's that? We'll do 2 more, then we'll wrap up. Anthony's rubbing his eyes there. It looks like he's about to take power now.
I don't know what's going on. Like my allergies are, I don't know. Like just sitting here in the last, we've been here an hour and a half. I don't know. I'm all stuffed up. My eyes are all itching and watering. I had to have my kid come in and shut the fan off because I thought maybe it was just like I don't know what it is.
Pets' heads are falling off.
Our pets' heads are falling off.
Heads are falling off. Come on, Brian. What have we got, buddy?
All right. I got one here from Elliot Kokia.
Yo, what's going on? Believe you me, straight to the point. This is for The Count and Lionheart. I know your favorite beers are Sapporo and Busch Light, respectively. My question is, what is your second favorite beer? And who would you have a beer with that you haven't yet had a beer with in the UFC? Thanks for everything you do.
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, the first part is easy. My favorite beer is Stella. After that, it would be... Sorry, my favorite beer is Sapporo. After that, it would be Stella Artois, I would say. What is your...
Artois.
Stella Artois.
You say it.
But that's how you say it.
Yeah,
Artois. Stella.
When you say it.
Stella Artois. See, like, because I've had this recently as well in our house. Croissant. How do you say that? The little pastry. Sometimes I've chocolate. It's not a croissant.
It's croissant.
It's not croissant. It's not. It's that I can't take it anymore.
What is it?
It's croissant.
No. Croissant.
Croissant. Croissant. It's a French word, okay? And I'm like,
you're not French.
No, I'm not. No, but neither are fucking you. And half of the American words you say the French way, But I can't think of an example right now. But I started saying croissant, and then some other people in America, I heard them saying croissant. And I'm like, oh, so they don't all say croissant. It's only the ignorant ones.
Those are pretentious people, Michael.
No, they're not. They're people that say it properly.
Mike probably says fiancé.
I do say fiancé. Fiancé, Stella Artois. What? That's how you say it.
Second favorite drink.
Go ahead.
I was thinking out loud. I wasn't trying to cut you off. I was probably not a beer though. It's just a drink. Like second favorite drink would be like a Moscow Mule.
Oh, love a good Moscow Mule.
Yeah, I'm a mule guy.
Yeah. I like a good mule.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you make your own?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much. That's my wife almost exclusively drinks Moscow Mules. So about the only thing, like if we're tailgating or something, she mixes orange juice with her beer so that she can drink the tailgating drinks or whatever. But yeah.
Now you're going to think I'm fancy when I say this, but when I do a Moscow Mule, it's oh God. I know. Yeah, but it's good. You're going to try it. I do a cucumber infused Moscow Mule. It's fucking good.
Cucumber infused. I'm not a big cucumber fan.
Bro, this is nice, right? I just get I get a cucumber, like the thing that you get the juice out with.
Yeah.
Just do that. You get all the juice out of a cucumber, right?
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, you can juice a cucumber. Tons of lime, mint from the garden because my wife grows mint, a bit of lime.
You are a bougie son of a bitch. You're like, oh, I got to make this Moscow Mule. I got to juice this cucumber. And then hold on just a second. I got to go to the garden.
Couple of sprigs of mint
get a
from
little
the
bit
garden.
Couple sprigs. Is that what we call mint? Is that what it's measured in? Sprigs?
A sprig.
Oh, sprig.
A sprig. I got a couple of
from
sprigs.
Nebraska. I don't fucking know. And I got to get it from the garden. You can't buy it.
Oh, no. Well, you can. You can buy it, but my wife grows it. So, it's good. A little sprig of fresh mint. I
need to come to the Bisping household and get one of these cucumber infused.
When you have the mule, tell me you have it in the copper cup.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. You have copper cups?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to drink one tonight.
I'm going to have one right now.
Yeah, I just decided.
Well, in fact, I'm not drinking now Mondays to Fridays. I'm only having a little indulge at the weekend. That's my new rule.
Okay. How long is that going to last?
Well, it's been a week so far.
You're like, well, one Monday through Friday so far.
Well, no, I did it last week. I didn't have anything to drink. And then Friday, Saturday, I had a few. You know what I mean? Right. I'm just like, trying to do.
Well, good for you.
Trying to be better. I get it.
I get made fun of if I did that here.
Really?
I'm just kidding.
I get called an alcoholic. All right, we'll do one more question to finish off. Brian, what have we got?
All right, so I'm going to give you guys a choice here. We got a parenting question.
A parenting. Oh, sorry, a parenting. I'm like, Harrington. What is that?
I think I fucked that up.
A bird version of Harrington.
And or a PED question. So you guys let me know.
I kind of want to do both. We'll do both real quick.
I kind of want to do both.
Yeah, me too.
So this first one here is from Callum Mason.
How we doing, guys? My name's Callum. I'm from Birmingham in England. Really big fan of the show. Anthony, great addition. Michael, I was at your show in Birmingham last year for Tales of the Octagon. Really enjoyed it. I did buy you a shot that pretty much got booted off stage by security. I'm a £5 down on that, but listen, no hard feelings. Quick question on fatherhood. I know that Mike, you're a father of 3, and Anthony, I think 4. I've got a 2-year-old daughter, so I'm fairly new to it. I'm trying to, grow a little human into a well-rounded person. So any advice that you guys have on life lessons and things that you've passed on to your children, to ensure that they become not tearaways and well-rounded, as I say, well-rounded little humans and good citizens and, have some input in this world rather than not. It's a weird one with social media nowadays, and it's only going to get worse when my daughter's probably your kid's age. So any advice that you have to a new father would be really appreciated. Cheers, fellas.
Anthony, you want to take the reins first?
Yeah. When he was first starting, I was like thinking like a funny shit I could say. But honestly, I think I feel like some decent advice for him. Like, okay, this is a very serious question. I don't want to be joking about it.
Before we go any further, do you not think he looks like Alexander Volkanovski?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, he gets that.
Yeah, I was like, who does he look like? But anyway, sorry, go on.
I would say, so far what we've done, at least with my oldest, I guess this isn't first, but this is a big one. Just kept her off of any kind of social media. And really monitored her screen time and her phone time and just like he was talking about with social media and stuff. The fucking world is crazy, and you don't ever know what your kids can get into. But a piece of advice that I got that I've used the entire time I've been a dad that I think has been super helpful is being super consistent. And I think I've actually talked about this before on the show where if my kids ask to do something and I say no today, like if it's wrong today, it's got to be wrong tomorrow, and it's got to be wrong a week from now or a month from now. I think that just being consistent with them, although sometimes feels like it's being, because sometimes you're like, I don't feel like arguing with them, and I don't feel like having this fight right now. Like, I'll just let them fucking do it today. Like, when you start doing that, when like sometimes they can't do it and sometimes they can, then I don't know. I've just found that with my kids, there's never any questions. Like, they know.
What's your 10-year-old called?
Her name's Araya.
Araya. So it's like, listen, Araya, listen, okay, it's Wednesday. Have the crack, but only today. Okay, no crack at the weekend. But sorry, I was like thinking of something stupid the entire time. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I mean that's helped me a lot though. I think I've seen other parents where like you'll be in the middle of doing something or we'll be around it and their kid will say, "Hey, Mom, can I do this?" And like the mom will say no, and I'm like, "Well, you let me that one time," and she was like, "Well, I didn't want to deal with you that one time." Like, yeah, then you end up in those kind of conversations, and then just being, I don't know if that guy's wife or girlfriend or partner or whatever is involved, but like, like how many times have your kids went and asked your wife something and she said no, and then they came to you and you had no idea that they already talked to your wife, so you're like, yeah, I don't give a fuck, and then you end up in this mess because now you're in trouble, they're in trouble. So I guess just being well communicated with the other parent is definitely helpful.
Absolutely. No, that is very, very good, solid advice. I'm kind of backed into a corner now. I've got to match that same level of intelligence. Just love them. Just love them. Do you know what I mean? And generally, you'll find that you do the right thing. If you care for something enough, generally not, you'll tend to figure it out. People always they think, oh, I've got a child coming along now, and how do we do it? And and all the rest of it. You figure it out. It's not that hard. It's the most natural thing in the world. Try and do the right thing. Listen to that inner dialogue. You know what I mean? Love your children. Love them. Love them first and foremost. You know what I mean? That's good advice, what you said there, 100%. But
I think it's similar to yours, though. Like, those weren't like instructions. Those are like basic concepts. Like,
it's like
communicate with the parent, be consistent, like so that they always, like it's like even with animals, like when you're trying to train a dog, you got to consistently keep the commands the same. You got to like, at the end of the day, no one's going to be able to tell you anything specifically that's going to change anything. Every kid's different. Every parent's different. You just got to figure it the fuck out. And it's hard. It's real tough.
Yep. But we have the inconsistencies with the dog, as you said, because Harry, our little shit, he will not come and beg from Rebecca, my wife, but he begs with me all the time because I'm soft. Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
because when she's around, you say no.
Oh, no, I don't. She says, Michael, don't feed him. I'm like, oh, shut up. I'm full anyway. You can have a little bit. Do you know what I mean? But with kids, I mean, I just try and teach my kids to dream big. Dream big. I mean, obviously, you got to have your heels on the ground. You can't bloody have your head in the clouds and think you're going to be some superstar, but allow yourself to dream big. You can do anything you want in this life. I always tell them, you know what I mean? But you're the only one that can achieve it. I'm not going to do it. You've got to do it. Always try hard at school. That's one of my big regrets. I wish I did. I didn't give a shit when I was younger. Now I wish I did. Fortunately, everything worked out, but not everything works out like that. You know what I mean? I always say to my kids, don't look at me and then think, oh, well, dad left school at 16 and dad did this and dad did that and everything worked out all right. Because the world is hard just to fucking get by. Do you know what I mean? Certainly, in certain countries like out here in the States, you know what I mean? In the UK, there's a little bit more, there's a culture where you can sit on your ass and still get your rent paid for and all the rest of it. You got to fucking get off your ass and work. You know what I mean? But dream big, enjoy yourself. Anyway, we'll do the last one. What was it on? Not on the parenting. What was it on, Brian?
PEDs. This one's on PEDs.
We're going to end on performance enhancing drugs, my favorite topic. I know so much about it.
So this one's from Jake Scott.
What's
going on, Jake?
Smith? It's an honor to be on your brand new podcast, Believe You Me, Anthony. So I know I'm late to the party, but I saw a while back you said that John Jones tested positive for PEDs every single day leading up to your fight with him. And my question is, how is this even possible? And how is it possible that this fight went on like nothing ever happened with no repercussions for John? And my other question, kind of going off of that, is a multi-parter. How many fighters that are in the UFC now do you guys think are sneaking in some sort of juice or performance-enhancing substances even under USADA? And what about for the other promotions such as Bellator or ONE that don't use USADA? My final question is, how many fighters do you think are using PEDs before they get into the UFC in order to give themselves a jump start on gaining lean muscle that they just maintain while they're in the UFC naturally?
Well, I'll let you answer the John Jones bit in just a second. In terms of fighters taking performance-enhancing drugs prior to getting to the UFC, I think now, if any coaches are condoning that kind of behavior, I think they're really, really looking at the small picture, because I never wanted to do steroids. I never took them or taken them or was even offered them, to be honest. But I know a lot of people were. When I was, in my younger days, I know a lot of people that were, and I was like, well, fuck that. Number one, I don't agree with it. But secondly, I want to fight in the UFC, and you get tested in the UFC, and that shit stays in your system for 2 years or whatever. Maybe it doesn't, whatever. But that was always my kind of mindset. Any coaches that are allowing young fighters doing that prior to getting to the UFC is a little, as I said, looking at the small picture. Once you get out, but there is other places that don't test, like you said. I think ONE FC, Bellator don't have USADA, so that becomes kind of, they used to say it was an IQ test. You know what I mean? Yeah. Knowing when to come off, when to cycle, what products to take to make sure you piss clean and all the rest of it. I think USADA is a great thing, but I am curious what he was talking about there, Anthony. So what's he talking about? John Jones tested positive every day.
Yeah, it's come up a couple times where people are like shocked when I say this. There was no secret that John Jones was pulsing going into my fight. Like, it was announced the week of the fight that he had failed another drug test because of this pulsing phenomenon or whatever the fuck they called it. So he was dirty the whole time.
Yeah, that's right. I remember now.
Yeah, so I said it one time. I don't know if I was on, I don't know what I was on or who I was on, like doing an interview with or whatever. And they said something. I said, John Jones tested positive every fucking day of fight week, and I never said shit about it. I never threw it into his face. I never brought it up in media. I never did any of that shit because I was just trying to go fight. And people are like, "Oh my God, Anthony, I broke the mold." Like, I'm out here telling some, like, it's not a secret. He was pulsing and testing positive the whole training camp. Every time he tested positive, every time he tested, like, I was notified about it. So, like,
if I remember correctly, Jeff Nowitzki had a way of kind of not condoning it, but a way of explaining it to make it seem like it was acceptable. Correct?
It wasn't a new ingestion, apparently.
There it is.
I asked Bob Bennett, the Nevada athletic commissioner, to not release the findings after he tested positive during the fight. It was like on Wednesday or Thursday.
Why?
Because every time they would bring it up, I would just get bombarded by the media. All they wanted me to do was talk about it, and I was sick of hearing about it. But they didn't. They were like, "No, we have to put this out there. It got to be reported on." So it's not like I told some secret.
How many fights? So obviously there was that fight there, which was the pulsing from a former ingestion. That's what they were saying.
But it was happening. Right? It was happening in the fight before with Gustafsson. That's why they moved the event.
So they had the Gustafsson fight. Yeah, that's right. They moved it from Vegas to LA.
He's probably still pulsing, I'd imagine.
They had obviously that one with you. They had the DC fight that he tested positive for.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been a lot, hasn't there? This isn't like a one-off thing.
No, it's a normal thing.
Yeah.
I would suspect he's probably still pulsing. And he's not the only one in the UFC that is.
Oh, yeah, that was another part of the question. I don't know who is, but I would say, and this is purely a guess, but anytime the sport's involved and there's competition, people want to get ahead. They want an unfair advantage. Certainly anytime there's money involved, which of course, the better you do in the sport, the more money there is to earn, and being the champion is the holy grail, if you will. So just based on that alone, there is people taking steroids. I guarantee it. I think USADA do a fantastic job. It gets a little bit, overboard at times, but I'd rather have that than people getting away with cheating. I'd rather people show up at my door at 5 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday or a Sunday, even worse. And it is a pain in the ass, but if to think that I'm going into fights with a level playing field, that's worth it. But do you have anyone that you suspect? I'm sure you're not going to say any names, but
yeah, there's lots. Yeah. I would say probably
Paulo Costa.
Maybe.
I'm joking. It's just like
15. I bet 15%.
You think 15%? Yeah,
probably 15% are probably on something or doing something or skating the system somehow.
Yeah,
I think it was probably much higher than that before USADA. So.
Oh, I guarantee way back in the day, like fucking most
40.
People.
Yeah.
I'm talking like, remember when the UFC used to just have one event a month? No, sorry, pardon me. 3 or 4 events a year. What am I saying?
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
when it used to be UFC
It might have been 100% then.
33. They're fucking all on steroids. My God, I guarantee it. Back then, they didn't test. But I remember they did start testing on the night. If you're in the main event, you would have to do a piss test.
Mm-hmm.
And I was naively think, oh, well, we're good. But of course, you know, you can come off the certain ways of cycling where you come off, so you're pissed clean on fight night. But as they said, that's just kind of an IQ test. But still, I don't want to sit here and, you know, besmirch or slag off all the roster and just assume that they're taking steroids. But there will be, because it is human nature.
There's definitely people that are trying. They're trying to skate the system for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a depressing note to end on.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So we're all scumbags. We're all taking steroids. I don't think it's a big percentage, though. How often do you start to show up at your house, Anthony?
Not that often, to be honest. Not often at all.
Fucking get on the steroids, buddy. Let's go.
Let's just turn it up.
Let's go.
Yeah, not often.
How much of an inconvenience is that, though? My God.
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass.
What's the worst experience with USADA?
Man, they've caught me in some weird places. They've showed up where I was getting tattooed in the middle of tattoo appointments. They've
no way
shown up where I'm playing sand volleyball, and like they've just had to sit there, you know, while I'm playing sand volleyball with my friends, or in the middle of golfing. So I've had to leave the golf, you know, the golf tournament or whatever.
Do you have to tell them that you're going to play volleyball?
Yeah.
Like so whenever you leave your house, you have to like log it with USADA?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, if they come to test you and you're not there and you haven't informed them, that goes down as a strike. Am I remembering this correctly, Anthony?
Yeah,
and then if you get 3 of those, that's a fucking failed test.
It's a failure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you really have to be within like an hour of where you say you are. So like if it says you're home, you have to be within an hour of that. So if they show up at your house, you got to be able to get there in an hour.
Yeah. Like if they show up and you're like, oh, like if they came here to Orange County, I said, oh, sorry, I'm in England. They'd be like, well, that's a strike. That's a strike. Because you
whereabouts failure.
I've told the whereabouts failure. There you go.
Yep.
There
So it's not like you have to be like, hey, we're going to the fucking ground round for dinner tonight.
No.
Right? Okay.
No. As long as you can say, listen, I'm pretty close. I can be there in 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
Right.
I'm sure even an hour would be okay. You know what I mean? But as long as within reason, you're somewhere close. Anyway, I think that's the show for today.
Yeah.
That's it.
Great.
That is it. Anthony Smith.
Sweet.
He's great podcast.
Are you working in weekend or this weekend in Vegas? I already asked you this.
Nope. You?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. No. I've had all month off, which has been great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to earn the money.
Right.
It's nice having time off, but then, you know, you don't get paid. But I'll be back.
Well, thanks, Mike, for coming on my podcast today.
Next weekend. No,
that was fucking hilarious when he said
thanks for having me, Anthony. I really appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you very much. Subscribe and ring the bell, as Harrington said. We do appreciate you. And Anthony, what would you like to say to your loyal listeners before you?
I really appreciate the support on the podcast over all these years. I'm glad that when we brought Michael in, you guys have really embraced him.
I know. You made me feel like one of your own. It's amazing.
No, I fucking love you guys.
Me and little Mikey. All right, boys, ladies and gentlemen, take care. We'll be back on Thursday.